Good afternoon, Bulldog baseball fans, and welcome to WNKX.
Yeah, Josh, we're in for a good one. We apologize for the little delay here, and good thing is we started right on the first pitch. Um, Thanks for sticking with us. We've got another good one. Last night, I know we had some difficulties with the stream, but we watched a pretty good game if you were able to go. Um, Lewis County, Lewis County won 4-1, but it was really good pitchers duel, as we talked about a lot through the stream last night. Um, there were some really good moments from some really young guys here for Hickman County. And now we're to tonight. Feels like a must-win game. We were talking off air, and I know we can introduce. Mike Smitson's here with us. We were talking off air about how this feels like a must-win game. So I'll let you guys elaborate on that, and as we get through this first at bat.
So yeah, Colby, I appreciate you handling the introductions for us here on WNKX for this presentation of Bulldog Baseball. It's round two here at Mike Smithson Field on the campus of Hickman County High School between these Lewis County Panthers and the Hickman County Bulldogs. I'm Josh Copley, joined by Colby Shelton, and we do have a special guest, former Hickman County High School Athletic Director and former World Series champion in the major leagues, Mike Smithson, and that's a leadoff base hit for the Panthers by shortstop Maddox Tanner against the ace, John Michael Lewis, who's towing the slab tonight for your Hickman County Bulldogs. And Mike, I know you got to work with a lot of these guys, and what have you seen out of John Michael as he's grown and developed as a player, but more specifically as a pitcher?
Well, actually, he's gotten bigger. He's a senior. He's got a great arm. He's always been able to throw hard. He's just got to learn to control his emotions. I'm sure his adrenaline's really pumping right now. He's got to learn it's really not how hard you throw it; it's where you throw it.
And it's not often we see guys get leadoff hits against Lewis, and that pitch is
Stressed with our pitchers. Um, Stressed with our pitchers. I think high school pitchers really have a really hard time, but they think they've got to strike everybody out. But you want to attack the strike zone, and I always tried to pitch to contact, which, I'd love. Perfect game for me would be 27 pitches, 27 ground balls a second. That would be a perfect game for me.
Now it's the three-hole hitter stepping in for Lewis County. It's the ever-dangerous Dakota Hull, and we saw a lot of him last night, Kolbs, not only at the plate, but he also came in the seventh inning, and he went 1-2-3 against the Bulldogs, an absolute flamethrower coming out of center field. And as a coach, you love having those guys you can lean on, knowing that if you can get to the last inning with a lead, it's pretty much game over.
Yeah, it's a special thing to have on your team, and we saw last night. We talked about how the Dogs really couldn't afford to get behind because you have arms like that in this Lewis County pen that can come out and really dominate an inning, a couple batters, and just shut the door. So as the Dogs go through this game, as the Dogs go through this game, it's important to be aggressive and get on the board early.
And Lewis way ahead on hole 0-2. He kicks and deals. Chopper to third, tough play. Chester feels the short hop to second for one, on to first, and the Bulldogs turn two. And John Michael Lewis is scoreless through the top half of inning number one. It's the top of the Dogs order, 1, 2, and 3 when we come back. And as we prepare ourselves for the Bulldogs to take their first swings of the game at their home field, I want to give an overview of this Lewis County defense who played pretty well yesterday, starting with their outfield, who I believe shined the brightest. From left to right, in left field, it's going to be number 7, Phoenix McDonald. Patrolling center field, it's number 17, Dakota Hull. And in right field, it's number 4, Cam Owen. So, Colby, since you were there with me last night, talk about what we saw with this Lewis County outfield.
Very good athletes, especially the center fielder hole. We saw some really good plays out of him specifically, but the corner outfielders did a good job getting to spots and backing up, you know, grounders that got through, fly balls that were going out. It's pretty fundamentally sound defense of three really good athletes. Um, but yeah, they had a great game last night. No errors on their, excuse me, one error on their side, but it was from the third baseman on a tough ball from Kylan Seal, who we talked about during the stream was mashing the ball last night. So pretty sound defense, pretty fundamentally sound, and just good athletes all over the field.
And we're going to take a look at their infield. At the hot corner at third base, it's number 25, Jackson Long. Playing shortstop, it's number 1, Maddox Tanner. At second base, number 15, Rylan Ham. At first base, it's number 6, their ace from last night, Colt Skelton. Behind the dish, it's number 13, Braylon Bean. And on the mound, we're about to see him just here in a few moments. It's number 22, Keegan Clayton. And we also see a change in the batting lineup, Colbs, for these Bulldogs.
Yeah, we see a shift towards Spiegelmeyer was the 3-hole last night, and Braden Chesser was the 5-hole. They move up to your 1 and 2 batters. I think Coach Duchesne really liked what he saw out of them fighting at the plate last night. Dogs had a tough night at the plate. They had a couple innings there where they could have pushed something, and ultimately only got 1 run out of the whole ball game. So it's just a different look. I really like it. I think, you know, you have guys that are going to put bat on ball earlier in the count. John Michael Lewis and Andy Kraft and Carter Bates right behind them. You like those guys as RBI type guys with guys that you're pretty sure are going to get on base in front of them.
So Spiegelmeyer steps in to take his first cuts of the night. And Coach Smithson, I want to turn to you. How important do you think it is to mix the lineup up like this whenever you came out a bit sluggish and really your first big game of the year against these Panthers?
Well, I'm sure that Coach Duchesne was trying to get a little production out of his 6, 7, and 8 guys. 2, 3, and 4, you pretty well know they're gonna do some things, but you want your back end of your lineup to be productive too, and you'd like to flip that lineup over as quick as you can and get back to number 1. Now Spiegelmeyer's a natural leadoff guy. He led off Russ last year. If he would just be a little more disciplined at the plate, take a few more pitches. He's got speed, and he uses bunt game a little bit more. He's really a productive player.
And we've seen a few southpaws that these Bulldogs have had to face this season. We saw a stout left-hander at Houston County. We also saw them have to face Dakota Disbro against Hampshire, who was a imposing left-handed thrower. So they have a little bit of experience facing left-handed arms, which a lot of guys in this district don't have. And Spiegelmeyer pops that one foul off to the right, and it lands foul. So Spigs down in the count 1 and 2 to Clayton on the mound, trying to make quick work of these dogs.
It should be an advantage to the Bulldogs. They're basically a right-handed hitting ball club anyway, so they should be all over this guy.
And a nasty breaking pitch, a lot of movement, and Spiegelmeyer's down looking for the first out in the bottom half of inning number 1. And here's another change we saw in this lineup, Colby, that you already addressed, but freshman Braden Chesser batting in the 2-hole, and not many freshmen can say they've done that, but I really think he's earned it.
He had a really good game last night. I know the stats won't really back up that, but man, he had those first 2 plate appearances I know we saw, worked it back to full counts. He fouled off maybe like 11 pitches in those 2 at-bats. Just a guy that's going to see a lot of pitches, going to work the pitcher, and that's pretty, huge in the first inning.
He took a first pitch strike again. Clayton using that nasty breaking stuff, and Chesser takes pitch number 2 for a ball up in the zone to even it 1-1. Clayton working quick, delivers, misses way outside, up and away.
What I like about what I've seen so far of him this year, he's got a good knowledge of the game. A lot of high school kids really don't think about that part of their game, but he's a good hitter because he knows the strike zone. He plays a decent, really solid infield because he's expecting the ball to be hit. And that's key. Your infielders have got to, when the way they approach infield play is, you've got to expect the ball to be hit to you every single time. And I think he does that. That's why he doesn't make a lot of errors.
So 3-1 pitch. Chesser swinging 3-1, hits it decent on the ground to second. Ham makes the play. Throw on to first for 2 outs.
Really a good at-bat by Chesser. Inside out the ball there. He kept his hands in, hit a hard ground ball to second. Good at-bat.
And what we've seen from both of these teams yesterday, I know it's a pretty small sample size, only one game played between the two, but these are a lot of aggressive hitters in both of these lineups. Whether they're ahead in the count 3-1, 3-0, they're going to be taking their hacks. They want to hit. They don't want free passes.
Well, we just hope our guys are up there. You know, I always wanted my guys to hit a line drive over second. Think line drive to right field. And then if the pitcher makes a mistake, when you can pull, then you pull the ball. But look line drive up the middle.
John Michael Lewis, a senior captain on this Bulldog team, steps in to take his cuts.
And I think the Dogs are seeing a very, very different pitcher than they did last night. Obviously, the easy comparison is left versus right-handed, but as we know, watching Colt Skelton last night, it was a lot of fastballs. I mean, I would do it too. He threw really hard, but it was flat fastballs, just eating the zone up. We saw a breaking ball get worked in.
And Lewis skies that one to center, coming in his hole, underneath it, and he makes the catch for the third out. So the Bulldogs go 1, 2, 3. Clayton only had to throw 12 pitches to retire the Dogs in order, and it's Lewis back on the bump when we come back for inning number 2. And as we prepare for inning number 2, I just want to say how much of an honor it is to get to call a game alongside a World Series champion. So, Mike, I mean, and you came up to us, and of course, I was going to go down there to you sooner or later because I'd be stupid not to. But I mean, you love the game of baseball, and it's great to have you with us.
Well, thank you. You know, this is my school. Hickman County High School has always been my school. I loved it when I was the AD here. I love coaching here, and it's just really good to see. You know, I've known these kids since they were down at Toomey, and you know, one day my hope is one day another major league player will come from that Doyle Park. There's one there somewhere. I just hope they progress in their play, and somebody else will make the big leagues. I've been blessed. I had good coaches coming up, and I was blessed with a good arm. God give me ability to throw hard, and you know, it's just really a blessing to play in the big leagues.
Well, I know I got to see a lot of you back when I was in high school. Now, mainly when I saw you the most, you were out there mowing the baseball field. Do they still have you mowing out there?
Well, you know, not really. Really, my last mowing experience was Mr. Mathis give me a walkie-talkie because he could never get in touch with me. Well, when I run over it with a mower and handed the pieces back to him, he just laughed, and he never tried to get in touch with me anymore.
Oh, man. Mike Smithson is one of a kind as we start the top half of inning number 2, and it's going to be the starting pitcher for Lewis County taking his cuts. Number 22, Keegan Clayton. Standing into that left-handed batter's box, John Michael Lewis still on the mound. Gave up one hit last inning, but that was about it as he shut down the other hitters. First pitch to Clayton. And he's bringing the velocity, a big swing and a miss by Clayton.
I told him before the game I really wanted him to see him attack the strike zone, and that's what he's doing right now. He's throwing strikes. He's attacking the strike zone.
And Lewis is a guy that can certainly rely on that velocity. And that ball skied to center. Kraft going back to the wall. That ball's drifting, and it's over his head. That's going to go to the wall. He's having some trouble bringing it in, but he gets it into his cutoff man, Spiegelmeyer, and it's going to be a leadoff double for Keegan Clayton.
Yeah, balls seem to just kind of get, like I said earlier, not a ton of wind, but where it is going is in that direction. And it looked like he just couldn't get to the position to get set under it. Looked like the ball just kind of drifted in the wind, and he could never get there. But good solid hit, and now the Dogs have a guy in scoring position, no outs to start this inning.
Well, that's where your injury to your catcher, McCaleb, really hurt your ball club because Spiegelmeyer is, in my opinion, the best center fielder in this district by far. Him in center, Kraft in left, Bates in right. In my opinion, they have the strongest outfield in the league. But with our catcher missing, They had to make some lineup changes, and nothing against Andy, but playing center field is a whole lot different than playing left.
Now up for the Panthers, number 15, Rylan Ham. And if you're Lewis County, we know how much runs were at a premium last night, and starting off the inning with a runner in scoring position, that's not something we saw a whole lot of last night. They had to scratch and claw for all 4 of those runs. So Ham probably just looking to have a productive AB, something on the right side of the infield just to get that guy over to third. Lewis, that heater just misses for a ball. Count even 1-1.
Yeah, and speaking of last night, Ham was 0 for 4, did get on base with an error and scored a run off that. So if you're Ham, you're trying to get base hit anyway, especially knowing that these two teams are pretty good and runs are at a premium.
That fastball is in there for a strike. Lewis just trying to fill up the zone. And, you know, the benefit of getting to play the same team twice in a row, you get to understand their lineup's tendencies, who has the higher strikeout rate, who swings and misses more than the others. And I'm sure John Michael, being a very cerebral guy on the mound, going to try to take advantage of that. He's ahead in the count 1-2. He deals to Ham. Slow roller to third. Chesser fields on a charge, and they're going to say foul off his foot.
And that's good. That's a good break for us because I got a feeling John Michael's going to put this guy away right here with a good fastball away. But that ball did go off his foot. You could hear it from up here.
Okay, there, called foul. It almost looked like the batter ran out of the box for like a half step, turned around, was like, hey, wait, it did hit my foot after looking where the ball went. But no, I'm with Mike there. I think it did go off his foot.
And seeing the umpires congregate about that, I mean, how would they necessarily overturn it? Would they award the batter first base if it didn't go off his foot, or would he be out?
Well, I don't know. I think Coach Duchesne is maybe once they out here, they'd give them 2 outs with a man on third. But I'd rather have the situation with the guy on second because I think John Michael can handle this guy. There's so many ways you can score from third that you can't score from second. So I'm going to roll the dice here and let John Michael work a punch out right here.
And Lewis has racked up a ton of Ks this season, probably one of the most prolific strikeout guys in the district. Lewis definitely seeing a change of pace between Jackson Warren last night, who's known to just let guys make contact, trust his defense. Lewis, quite the opposite. The 2-strike pitch. Swung on and missed. And Mike, you called it.
Well, that's the pitch last year that he didn't have control of. He had always had good fastball. Last year he could not get the breaking ball over. If he gets that pitch over, Lewis County's in for trouble.
1 out, right? Yes.
2.
Yeah, with his velo and his ride on his fastball, having a breaking ball like that you can spot and people have to worry about, that's really, really nice to have.
And that one's in there for a called strike. And Colby, I want to talk about this umpire strike zone for a little bit because we've seen him a few times this season. He does love that outside corner zone, so I'm sure John Michael's going to zero in on that.
Yeah, I think it'd be smart too. Funny enough, we've seen that the past couple of games. Different umps, but that same spot they like. And it is a hard spot to call.
And McDonald chases that ball in the dirt. Seal having to go back and find it, and that will move the runner up to third. And Lewis County 90 feet away from breaking this 0-0 tie. But John Michael broke off a nasty breaking pitch there.
Well, and, you know, the Seal catching, this is another thing McCaleb not catching. We got a guy that hadn't caught, I don't think he caught an inning last year, and he volunteered to go back there. Catching the fastball would be a lot easier than trying to block the breaking ball.
And the Dogs bring the infield in, trying to shut down that runner over at third with less than 2 out. Lewis deals, and McDonald stays alive, fouling it straight back.
Yeah, he was all over that fastball there. That was sort of right down the middle. He needs to, like you said, this umpire likes the outside corner. I'm gonna throw one right there this time and see if I can't get the strike call.
Yeah, and you have pitches to work with. You're way up 0-2. You just don't want anything to get by with a speedy runner on third.
The 1-2 pitch to McDonald. Lewis delivers. Breaking ball in the dirt, but a nice job by Seal to get in front of it.
Yeah, he's got him set up now. This really, if I was pitching right here, I'd throw the fastball in, back him up a little bit, but you really don't want to hit the guy, so I'm going fastball away right here.
That's so fun to just ask a World Series champion what he'd do.
And a big swing and a miss from McDonald. Then Lewis has 2 strikeouts on the inning, and he's just 1 out away from getting out of danger as Colt Skelton steps in, and the Bulldogs may have had nightmares about that young man last night.
Well, he did a good job setting him up right there. He threw the breaking ball in the dirt, got the guy's eyes moving, threw one down in the dirt. He got the guy set up for the fastball away, and that's exactly what he did.
And the Bulldogs back up, giving some steps in the infield, knowing they only have to make the play at first. First pitch, called a ball just outside.
And last night we saw Colt Skelton have 3 at-bats, had a good sac bunt late in the game that he got out on. A walk and a fly out to the center fielder were his other 2 at-bats.
The 1-0 pitch misses down and in. So Skelton way ahead in the count, 2-0, a pretty good hitter's count, might be looking for a fastball.
Yeah, it's sort of a situation here. You don't know if you're going to challenge him with a fastball or maybe put him on, but when you put him on, probably going to steal second. So I'm anxious to see what he throws here. Probably a fastball away.
Lewis comes set, kicks and deals. Yep. Fastball away, call the strike.
Now, the infielders got to be ready. This is a situation where you got to tell yourself, hey, every pitch, the guy's going to hit the ball to me. Then you'll be ready to make a play. You got to make routine plays for your pitcher right here.
Lewis trying to battle back in this AB. 2 away in the inning. The 2-1 pitch gets a swing and a miss at a ball up in the zone. And now Lewis is just 1 strike away from getting out of the top of the second.
Well, he's got him set up for the breaking ball. Now if he wants to throw it, the catcher's got enough confidence that he can catch it, but he's set up for a breaking ball on the K right here.
Lewis, a couple of shakeoffs to seal. 3 in a row now. The batter's going to step out, and we're going to take a little breather.
Well, that could be the coach giving him the sign to shake off. High school baseball, this guy's probably expecting a breaking ball, so you never know. Fastball away, you might take it.
I love the chess game going on in the booth and on the field right now.
The 2-2 pitch.
Yep.
Fouled back. So he did go with the heater, and that was a good job by Skelton just to stay alive.
Well, he's got, like I said, he's got him set up now. All he's got to do, doesn't even have to bounce it in there. If he throws a good breaking ball, this guy's out.
So we're gonna do the 2-2 pitch one more time. Breaking ball, sits back on it and punches it into his own dugout to stay alive, still at 2-2.
Not really where he wanted to throw it, a little bit of a hanger, but like I said, he was probably looking fastball, fouled off the breaking ball. So you got a good battle going up right here. I'm going fastball away right here.
Let's see if you and John Michael are on the same wavelength. 2-2 again. Fastball, blew it by him for strike 3. And that's 3 Ks on the inning for John Michael Lewis. And we're going to stay tied at 0. Lewis strands the runner at third. It's going to be 4, 5, and 6. Due up for the Dogs in the bottom half of the second. So we saw a pretty good inning from Keegan Clayton on the mound for these Lewis County Panthers as the 4-hole hitter steps in for the Bulldogs. It's going to be Andy Kraft. So Andy, who's usually the leadoff guy, and how do you think that's going to change his approach, Mike, going from leadoff to the cleanup spot?
You know, I think one of Andy's biggest problems is so hard on himself. He's a perfectionist. I can sort of see that on the football field. He's got to use his speed. This team has got some speed that I don't think we utilize enough. I always told these guys, you should never go over 4 with your speed. You can always get on with a bunt hit. But Andy's a real athlete, and he's just got to be not so hard on himself.
So Andy, first pitch, it got him. So that's going to be a base runner for the Bulldogs to start the bottom half of inning number 2, and it's a guy that runs pretty darn well.
Yeah, situation right here. I'm gonna sacrifice, but it's not going to be a typical sacrifice. I'm going to have my guys square around, get their infielders moving. I'm going to give Andy the steal sign, let him steal, pull the bat back, take the pitch, and then if we want to bunt him to third, we'll get him to third base.
That left-handed pickoff move, always something to be aware of. Bates squares to bunt, fouls it back.
We did see
bad. He sort of bailed out on that. You got to give yourself up here. This is a situation. It's a sacrifice bunt, which means I'm giving myself up. I'm going to bunt the ball fair, give myself up, get a runner in scoring position.
We did see a pretty big sack bunt last night by Carter Bates in the 4th in that inning that they almost pushed around someone.
And Kraft
Go ahead.
hung out to dry,
Oh, he had it.
and they're going to have him in a pickle. Kraft gets around him, swim move, dives in, he's back in safely. And that's where it helps to have some athletes on your team.
Well, true, but I know in college and big leagues, once you go, you never stop. You put your head down and you just take your chances of. I really think he would have made it to second if he hadn't stopped. But like you said, Andy's a real athlete.
So Andy might have saved himself a chewing out as well from Coach Duchesne.
Coach Smithson, do you still think you'd put the bunt on right here, or
maybe a hit and run?
That third baseman Long creeping in, Bates squares to bunt, pokes it foul into the net. So now he's down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes, and we'll probably see Bates swing away now, which isn't the worst thing in the world. He swings a good stick.
Yeah, you don't want to see your hitter punch at the ball, which Carter's done on his 2 bunts. Always pretend like you got a glove on the end of your bat and just catch the ball with that glove and lay it out there softly.
1-2, Kraft over at first. The pitch. Bates ground ball. That's through the hole for a base hit. So what could have been a 1-out runner on second turns into no outs, runners on first and second.
That was a major league situation right there. He just saved himself $500 because he would have been fined $500 for not getting the sack down.
You think Coach Duchesne finds these guys out there?
Maybe a dime or so.
I would say probably not 500.
I wonder if he could legally do that.
Nah, it'd be rough either way.
Now here's the real sacrifice bunt situation. First and second, nobody out. Get the runners over with a sack bunt.
First base cheating in. You probably want to put that down the third base line with nobody covering, with the shortstop having to hold on the runner at second. Seal does square to bunt, fouls it back.
Pull the bat back. If it's a ball, you don't have to bunt it. Take the pitch. Take the ball. This guy's up. Mike could walk you. You never know.
I know too. When we were taught, like by Coach Chester in high school, you want a little more knee flexion than that. You want to get more in an athletic stance and really catch the ball, like Coach Smithson said.
Tries to bunt again. Again, it's foul over towards the Lewis County dugout. Now Seal in an 0-2 count as he tries to replicate the same success as the guy that came before, Carter Bates.
Well, I don't know. As a coach, never know right here. I might give him the bunt one more time. I got to get these guys over somehow.
The good thing, I think, is you have some options. We were talking earlier in the year about Kylan Seal kind of coming along slower. I mean, he was a basketball guy. He didn't get the preseason that some of these other guys did. But we saw last night some really squared-up balls. Nothing really to show for it. Got on base on an error. That was another hard-hit ball. But you kind of have some options here for your Coach Duchesne. So I'm curious what he will go with. Still no outs in the inning.
It's really tough being a 2-sport athlete, especially in high school. When you play basketball or football and you come on to baseball, you really don't have a lot of time to get in shape and show what you can do. There we go.
And that ball gets away. The runners will move up easily without a throw. So the Bulldogs have certainly had lady luck on their side this inning after Bates missed out on his bunting opportunity, turned into a single. Now Seal missed his bunt. Still got runners second and third, no out, and a big RBI spot for Kylan Seal, who's still been trying to find that swing of his this year as he's been transitioning from basketball into baseball. And Seal takes a big rip and a miss for strike 3, and that's a big first out for Keegan Clayton out on the mound.
Well, like I said, that's right there. You just want to try to make contact. He tried to pull that ball. He pulled his head off. Like I said, think line drive to second base and just hit a ground ball. Ground ball scores a run here.
And it's senior Wyatt Bates, the right fielder, taking his cuts. First pitch from Clayton misses outside for ball 1. The infield, just as the Dogs did last half inning, they're playing in, not wanting to yield any runs.
I think we talked about it earlier, but that outside zone kind of looks more consistent tonight.
And Bates pops that one up behind first base, fading foul. First baseman going back, right fielder over, and it drops in between in no man's land, so Wyatt Bates will have new life.
You know, White did a good job there. It looks like he's trying to hit the ball to right field, which is what you'd like to see him do right here. White has a little problem sometimes of dropping his hands when the bat first move is down. Needs to push those hands back, hit the ball solid.
1-1 count to Bates. Clayton comes set. He delivers. Misses outside, working away to Bates. So maybe he too is learning from Lewis, trying to dot that outside corner.
You know, it wouldn't be a bad time for a little safety squeeze right here. The way he's throwing the ball outside, just push that ball right to first base.
And that one called a strike. The catcher didn't make it look all too believable, but I guess it's not about where the catcher catches it, but where it crosses the plate.
Yeah, I think we'll give Lewis County one there. I think the ump give him that one.
Counts even 2-2. Bates chokes up a little bit, just trying to put something in play. That one misses in the dirt. He wisely holds off, and that's a tough pitch to take with 2 strikes.
It really is, but that's a good job right there. I think he's probably looking away. Ball was in. That's why he didn't swing at it. He's got to choke up right here. Just make contact. Make him make a play on him.
I love the approaches right now by the Dogs, making this pitcher work, really getting that pitch.
Chopper to third.
That's going to
Kraft breaks. Throw to the plate. Not in time. Andy slides in under the tag of Bean. And Wyatt Bates does a job. It's runners on the corners with 1 out and 1 run home for the Dogs.
Well, I know their manager's coming out, but he was safe. That was a good call by the umpire. He got the foot on there before the tag got there.
Sometimes that's really tough for a catcher to do is figure out where to get. I mean, you have a split second to get somewhere, take the mask off and receive the catch. So usually that's what happens is the catcher gets too deep, gets on the plate, and by the time you've got the ball, like, foot's there. It's hard to get all the way down on the plate and beat the guy.
Well, used to in the good old days, the catcher could block the plate, but it's a rule in high school you can't block the plate. 20 years ago, the catcher would put them shin guards right over the plate, and you would have slid, but you would have never made it. But you can't block the plate. So when he went to tag, he was late.
I want to say, wasn't that the Buster Posey rule where
With
he like
Chris Coughlin,
Yep.
he broke both of Posey's legs. Yeah,
Yep.
just I guess that was what 2012, early 2010,
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
I mean, that guy's a GM now, so it's been a while, right? He's not even playing anymore.
So now it's Jackson Bates in the starting lineup for these Hickman County Bulldogs.
Yeah.
That ball smacked
Wyatt.
in between first and second, but it hits off of Wyatt Bates.
Runner's got to go back to third.
So Bates will be out, and they're going to send Carter back to third. And that is a tough break for the Bulldogs and a lucky break for the Panthers.
Great piece of hitting by, this is probably his first game, right, that he's played varsity, the Bates boy.
Well, we did see him come in yesterday to play first base. He wasn't in the lineup. He was DH for still because he replaced the starting pitcher, Jackson Warren.
That was a nice piece of hitting.
So we're seeing a lot of change-ups in this Bulldog lineup, and maybe Jackson Bates might have earned himself a slot with how well he swung the stick on that last AB. But it's going to be runners on the corners, 1 out. Major Qual swings, hits that one to center. Dakota Hull under it. And with 2 outs in the inning, Hull hauls it in out in center. And Clayton's able to minimize the damage on the mound, but the Bulldogs are able to take the lead courtesy of a Wyatt Bates infield knock. It's 1-0 Dogs as we head on to the third. So as we prepare ourselves for the top of the third inning, Hickman County already showing a bit more life today than we saw last night. Maybe that's just from them learning from Lewis County yesterday. Maybe it's the momentum you get from being at your home field. Either way, the Bulldogs have been looking pretty good, and it started with that man on the mound, John Michael Lewis.
Well, we always thought these were big innings when your team scores runs. We looked pretty good at the plate right there in that last half of the inning. So this is the inning I want John Michael to come out, dominate, get them 1, 2, 3, get us back in the dugout, and let our offense go to work.
It's going to be 8, 9, and 1 due up for the Panthers, starting with third baseman number 25, Jackson Long. And John Michael Lewis is riding a wave of 3 straight strikeouts. He struck out Ham, McDonald, and Skelton consecutively to escape a runner in scoring position last inning.
I think Coach Smithson really hit the nail on the head in that last inning. Mixing pitches, changing eye level is very important, and changing pitches and locating. Like one of the better innings we've seen, especially the end of the inning, of throwing the pitch where it's intended and with like confidence. And you know, I'd love to see him come back and strike the next 3 guys with that same mindset.
The first pitch of the third inning to Long, misses down for a ball. Not a bad spot, though.
I'd want that pitch. I'm just sitting here going, where was that?
Lewis delivers. Swung and fouled straight back, and it's times like that we're thankful for that netting behind home plate. That one would have come straight for Colby's face, I think.
I think I would have grabbed it, though. I trust my instincts. I would have 2 hands, of course, for safety. But
you wouldn't use the hat?
No, all hands. Never taking the hat off.
And Lewis gets that one over for a called strike, ahead in the count 1 and 2.
A little surprised where Kraft is playing. He's shading to the left field side. This guy's not going to pull Lewis, so I'm a little shocked that he's there. I would have moved him over a little bit to the right.
1-2. Lewis trying to put away Long. The pitch. Swung and shot down the right field line and just foul. Bit of an exhale moment for any Bulldog fans. That ball was smoked.
So close that the ump had to dance his way out of that. I mean, that when you see the ump have to move down the line, that's when you're like, uh-oh, this could be dangerous. It could get in the corner. If I remember right, Jackson Long's a pretty quick kid too, so that could have been 3.
And we're going to do the 1-2 count once more. Lewis winds and delivers. Nasty breaking ball, but Long able to hold off as it misses down and away. Nice snag behind the plate by Seal.
You know, you can't really see the plate from here, but just looking at his hands, he's got his hands have to be over the plate. So a fastball in right here, and I think that's what he's going to do. There's no way he's hitting a fastball in.
The 2-2 pitch. Fastball inside, and he punches it to right field to Wyatt Bates, and it's down for a leadoff single. So that was indeed the heater, more so on the inside part of the plate, but a nice piece of hitting.
Yeah, good piece of hitting right there. That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to go to right field with it, and he did exactly that.
I think it's impressive sometimes these kids are still in high school, but they can do things like that where they let a fastball inside get that deep and still find a way to just get on base and throw it out to right field. So
and it's
really
not like,
good piece of hitting.
And it's not like Lewis is throwing batting practice up there on the
No,
pound
absolutely
either.
not.
So now it's the 9-hole hitter, Cam Owen, the right fielder.
Braden Chester's playing a little bit in on third, maybe expecting a bunt.
That's a pretty good lead over there at first for Jackson Long, this being a 1-0 ball game, and Lewis County hasn't had the same production they had last night up to this point, so maybe we'll see a runner in motion.
I would think so. If I'm their manager, I'm putting my guy in motion here. You got a guy that's never caught before. I mean, I'm taking my chances.
But Seal does have a great arm behind the plate. Big secondary, but no steal for Long over at first, and the pitch to Owen misses down for a ball.
To give Seal a lot of credit. He's done a really good job back there tonight so far, and for not having really caught a real game, he's done a good job.
I think it's some of that two-sport athlete stuff. You can see he's moving really well. He's getting low, and he's reacting like it's almost like he's caught John Michael before, but I don't even know if he has. It's just he looks so athletic back there.
Squares to bunt, pulls it back for a ball. And we saw Seal indicate with his glove, aim up and away, maybe a modified pitch out of sorts, or maybe just a straight up pitch out.
I think maybe if he'd have stayed down a little bit longer, it might have been a strike.
Owen ahead in the count 2-0. Lewis behind the 9-hole guy. Modest lead over at first for Long. Squares to bunt. Throws it right at him. And they're going to let it roll. Foul. A very heads-up play by Lewis and Chesser. And again, Chesser only a freshman, but such a high baseball IQ.
That was him calling the play. Like you said, did a great job. He saw the spin on the ball and knew he couldn't get it in the air. That was a great play by both those guys.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive for a freshman to have an internal clock like that, to be like, I can't get this guy out. Let's just, see if it rolls foul. So, yeah, that was not meaningless, but as like little you think of that play, that was pretty heads up right there.
I'm going to think they're probably going to be in motion here some way, somehow, with a hit and run, bunt and run. They're going to try to get this guy to second so the top of their lineup comes up.
The 2-1 to Owen. Lewis, look over to first. Bates puts the tag on, but Long is back in safely.
Coach Duchesne's probably thinking the same thing. Plus, he's got some guys down there that's played baseball before. They know that they're going to try to get a guy to second.
Lewis delivers square to bunt again, throws it behind Owen, and it gets away from Seal, and the runner's going to move up easily.
Well, not a really great pitch selection there. The easiest pitch to bunt's a breaking ball, and that's what he threw, and it got away from him. So now, if I'm going to bunt again, I'm bunting the guy to third right here.
And Chesser playing back behind the bag over at third, but the first baseman Bates does creep in on the grass. And the umpire calls time behind the plate.
Well, they obviously got a bunt play set up here where John Michaels got third baseline, and first baseman will be charging. John Michaels got the whole third base side, so he's got to cover that.
Lewis gives a look back to second. Fires the plate, no bunt for Owen, and that ball's in there for strike two. The count goes full 3-2.
I think he had to take all the way there. I think their coaches, hey, let's just take a chance and we'll go 3-2.
Now Owen looking to shorten up, have a productive AB for the Panthers. Lewis, a strikeout would be huge. The 3-2 to Owen. Swung on and missed. And it's strikeout number 4 for John Michael Lewis as the lineup turns back over to number 1, Maddox Tanner.
I think it's a good job of just kind of attacking him. 3-2 count. The batter probably is sitting fastball anyway because it's 3-2. You're if you had to flip a coin or guess, you're probably guessing fastball. But just a really confident pitch and just throwing it by him.
The high school baseball, there's a reason he's batting ninth. So John Michael made a great pitch right there.
Now Tanner looking to do something at the plate. Bates again cheating in on the grass at first base. Chesser behind the bag, giving him some steps. Breaking ball inside, just misses Tanner. He has to skip out of the way. That's ball 1.
And Tanner led the game off with a single through the third base and shortstop hole. Let's see if John Michael can come and attack him with a guy in scoring position.
And with long speed at second base, the outfield playing pretty far back, and that ball smacked the center field. Kraft fields it, Long rounds third. He's going to score standing, and it's going to be an RBI single for Maddox Tanner.
Good piece of hitting right there. He threw a fastball, got it over the plate, got it up a little bit, and he put the good part of the bat on it and hit it to right center.
Now up, number 13, Braylon.
And again, you can't help but notice the defensive positioning there in center field. He was shaded more over to the left center field gap. If he's playing more straight up, maybe that's a line out.
Could have been. With John Michael, they're not going to be many pull balls unless he makes a mistake with his breaking ball. So, yeah, I'm shifting my guys over to right center a little bit.
So now runner on first, it's Maddox Tanner, the leadoff, while the number 2 hole hitter, Braylon Bean, the catcher, steps up. He flew out to center field his first time through the order. Lewis looking for that ground ball double play. Little slide step, misses inside for a ball.
Looks like the outfield went back to more of a traditional straight-up alignment. Not sure if that hit influenced it or maybe they just did that for Bean, who was up.
The pitch to Bean. Big swing and a miss at a ball on the outside part of the plate.
Coach Smithson, you talk about eye level. I know that's vertically, but also horizontally there. You miss inside, well, no harm, no foul. Let's just attack outside and see if he chases or doesn't even like it.
After this pitch, I'll tell you a little something about that verticality. Can't say it, but if you'll notice when a hitter steps in the box, the first thing he does is he looks to the outside part of the plate. He's getting his eyes trained, and that's as far as he can go. So when you throw inside, you want to throw it where he has to move where he moves his eyes. You want to get him to move his eyes, and most of the time they'll take a half a step back, and then you own the outside part of the plate.
And a breaking ball bashed into left field. Major Qualls fields it on a hop. Runner tries to move up to third, and he's going to be in there as the throw's offline. Lewis County has runners at the corners, still only one out.
Good piece hitting. Another hanging breaking ball right there. I know he'd like to have that one back, and the guy stayed back and put the good part of the bat on it.
It's almost like you could see him sitting fastball based on that back leg, kind of just like giving. Like Coach Smithson said, just a great piece of hitting, sitting back on it, not getting, confused when you're seeing that spin, and just being aggressive, throwing the barrel out and letting the barrel do the work. So Dogs are in a bit of trouble first and third right here.
Josh, that was one of the hardest things we learned how to do, because in college, you really didn't learn how to pitch inside very much with an aluminum bat. There was really no advantage for you to throw, because if you hit it off the handle in college, they could still get a base hit. So my rookie year in Texas, we were playing in Arlington Stadium. I can't remember who we were playing. Jim Sundberg was my catcher. He gave me the fastball in, and I shook him off, and he gave me the fastball in again, and I shook him off. He called timeout, and he slowly walked out to the mound. Of course, I'm 6'8", and he was about 6 foot. He got out there, and he looked up at me, and he goes, "Now tell me how many years you've got in the big leagues." And he said, "Don't you ever shake me off again." And I never did.
Did that work out to your benefit?
Absolutely. I led the league and hit batters, I think, 3 or 4 years of my career. But you got to throw inside. You just have to.
So we saw Coach Duchesne go out there to talk to his pitcher, and they even brought the infield in, probably just thinking about where to go with the ball if it's hit to you, with runners on the corners and less than 2 out. Runner breaks to second. Lewis steps off. And the runner's going to move up to second, uncontested, second and third for Dakota Hull.
I don't. Obviously, you got second base there. I think Lewis County is trying to get him to throw to about a second and try to do the double steal. But now John Michael's got to bear down and get a strikeout right here.
And Hull takes that one low for a ball.
I think we need to keep an eye on that little part of the zone, that bottom half. Maybe that is low. I mean, we're up in the booth, but there's been two or
over
three.
The heart of the plate. I agree with you, Kobe, on that.
Last time Hull was at the plate, he grounded into that beautiful 5-4-3 double play. This one he shoots into right field. That's down for a hit. 1 run will score. Second runner being waved home. Throw by Bates in is too late. And Lewis County widens their lead 3-1, courtesy of a 2 RBI base knock by Dakota Hull.
Not that this might have even changed anything, but you kind of saw the right side of that infield with a newer first baseman and a new catcher have to, get into a gun down right there. And first baseman took a little bit too much time turning and having to get it out of his glove and throw it, and then Seal standing on the plate instead of out in front, coming to receive the ball. So
it looks like Lewis County's got a pretty good game plan. They're sort of just taking every breaking ball. He did get a strikeout in the first inning, but looks like their game plan is take the breaking ball, hit the fastball away to right field, and they've done a good job of that so far.
So what looked like was going to be another pitcher's duel on this Tuesday evening. The Bulldogs all of a sudden are going to have to claw back into this one, chain together some offense, but it all starts with keeping this lead right where it is at 3-1. And it's Keegan Clayton stepping up. He doubled to center field over the head of Andy Kraft his first time. And that one again is smacked to center field. Kraft going back at the wall. It's off the wall. Hull got a late start at first, and he's going to stop at third, second and third for the Panthers, and it's the second double of the night for Keegan Clayton, and man, is he swinging a hot bat.
Yeah, that looked like a weird route for Andy Kraft. That, that wind,
Now up,
well, kind
number
of is dead right
15,
now, but
Rylan
just might not have picked that up right off the bat, and looked like he kind of went more horizontal and then started to retreat.
Yeah,
Um,
like I said, center fielder's not that's not an easy place to play. Give Andy credit; he put his head down, he went after it. He just didn't get there in time.
yeah, especially those balls kind of like that where they're just smoked right at you. It's hard to see. Like you were saying earlier, left and right field, you can kind of see that curve and see the spin, but center field's a different animal for sure.
So the infield now coming back in, still only one out. Rylan Ham, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. First pitch breaking ball in there for a strike.
Yeah, they're setting fastball. You can tell he had no intentions of swinging at that breaking ball.
Tough spot to be in when you know the batters are sitting one pitch and know that you have to throw that eventually.
Lewis deals again, another breaking ball. This one, a bit of a front door for strike 2.
Yeah, that's a tough pitch to swing and hit. I know he didn't mean to throw it there, but that is a very tough pitch to hit.
Well, 1 minute you think it's hitting you, the next it drops in for a strike. Lewis way ahead on Ham, 0-2. The pitch. Ball in the dirt, kicks away from Seal, bounce back in a hurry, and it hits off the foot of the umpire. That's a tough break for the Dogs. If Seal might have game planned for the hard bounce, they might have had a play at the plate.
Yeah, breaking ball in the dirt. Tough pitch to block, especially when you hadn't been back there very much. We've got to bear down right there. We got to hold this run, hold them to 4 runs. We're going to score some runs. It needs to hold them right here.
Lewis still has 2 strikes on Rylan Ham. The count's 1-2 with 1 out, runner on third. Here's the pitch. Fastball down for a ball.
I'd come right back with that again. Come inside right here. Throw the ball right at his belt.
Lewis steps off. Still working from the stretch. A lot of times you see a runner on third, the pitcher resumes that wind-up, but maybe John Michael's more comfortable there. The 2-2. Breaking ball misses inside, and Ham just got out of the way of that one. And maybe, if you're Lewis County's manager, you're thinking maybe turn into that a little bit.
Yeah, we do have the reason he's going from the stretch. You keep the guy a little bit closer on a wild pitch. Plus, we do have a pickoff play to third out of this play right here.
Ham's got the count full, 3-2. Lewis looking to put him away. Fastball, got him, chasing. And it's another strikeout for Lewis. 2 down, runner on third. And number 7, Phoenix McDonald, will take his cuts. He struck out his last time.
Infielders have got to beware. Left-handed hitter here to get to first base a little quicker, and he tried to bunt his way on right there.
And with the infield playing back, even the corners playing back as well, not a bad idea at all to square.
No, it's a good play. Kids don't do that enough. He was trying to bunt for a base hit and drive in a run right here.
Now you see Braden Chester at third base try to correct that, not give him that option, make him swing the bat right here.
And he does elect to swing, but he takes a look at that one inside for a ball.
He said that was inside. He motioned to the Hickman County dugout that it was inside.
Saw a couple of those coaches over there asking where that missed.
The 1-1. Off the glove of Seal, runner goes. And he's going to score standing up. And the lead widens 5-1.
Yeah, we got to pick ourselves up right here. The team is down a little bit. You can see her body language is not good. Pick yourself up. This is high school baseball. You can score 5 runs just like that in high school with a metal bat. So get out of this inning and let's go hit.
Yeah, and you've only batted twice. Like, there's so much game left. You've already proven that you can hit the other guy, too.
Lewis looking to battle back. That one misses down and in. McDonald jumps out of the way.
Yeah, you see, he overthrew that ball right there. He's got to control his emotions right here and get back in the strike zone.
Lewis, who can go back to the windup. Tom called at the plate. And Lewis has not left that stance on the mound. He stays on the rubber. Winds and delivers. Call the strike on the outside corner.
It's hard to really tell from up here where those pitches are. It's really hard. You can't tell if the catcher's sitting right down the middle or if he's on the outside, but that was a good pitch right there.
The 3-2. Just missed. And McDonald works the walk. And that'll bring up number 6, Colt Skelton, with a runner on first and 2 men down.
Colt Skelton.
That, I don't want to be that guy on the radio, but that might have been the exact same spot.
Yeah, it was a good pitch. I mean, it was close.
Yeah. I will say that one did seem to have a bit more break to it, so maybe it didn't snap back across the plate until it was too late. Of course, the umpire can see a little bit better than us down there. First pitch going right at Skelton. Gets a swing and a miss for strike 1.
He's the one making that big money, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
That one right down Main Street for strike 2, and Lewis way ahead on Skelton, 0-2, just trying to get out of this inning. Lewis is already over 60 pitches, and he was working really efficiently through the first 2, and he's run into a bit of a roadblock in the third. The 0-2 delivery. Chopper foul.
Yeah, with the pitch counts in high school baseball, I know they got games on Thursday, Friday. He pitches 125. He's probably done for the week. So, yeah, he needs to get his pitch count down a little bit.
I want to say he's around 30 this inning too, and you know more than us up here that 30 in one inning, that's just a lot out of you, and your pitch count number kind of goes down.
Runner goes,
anyway.
Breaking ball over for a called strike 3, and mercifully the top of the third comes to an end, and the Bulldogs gonna have to rally as Lewis County puts up a 5 spot. It's going to be the top of the order due up for the Bulldogs. 1, 2, and 3 to start the bottom of the third. And it's going to be number 1, Aiden Spiegelmeyer, taking his cuts. He went down looking his first time up. We saw Spigs play a lot of pseudo leadoff last night, even from the 3-hole. He was more often than not the first guy up in a lot of innings. And he did his job reaching base.
Absolutely. He was part of that 3-4-5 last night that was probably the best unit in the lineup. Went Spigs, Carter Bates, and Braden Chester. A lot of fighting off pitches and working long counts in those between those 3.
And Spigs takes a pretty ugly swing at a 1-0 breaking ball, count even 1-1. Skelton, of course, was the workhorse last night, was tough to get on against that young man, and the Bulldogs have shown a bit more life against Clayton out there on the mound tonight. That one misses way outside, and Spigs is ahead in the count 3-1.
I was wondering if he was going to go back to something out there, because if we remember his first at bat, he was in, out, and that strikeout pitch was that kind of breaking ball that fell back in.
Almost give him the take right here. We got to have some base runners.
The 3-1 misses inside, and he does just that, whether it was the call all the way or whether he was just trying to save himself. He does get on first all the same with nobody out, and Braden Chesser steps in.
Usually don't like to put the runner in motion in a situation when you're down like this, but this is really a good hit and run guy. Braden does a really good job hitting the ball to the right side.
Does look like the Dogs have Carter Bates warming up in the bullpen. It's a light warm up. He doesn't look like he's getting ready in a hurry, but maybe we'll see him in the next inning or two.
That first pitch to Chesser misses way up out of the zone for ball 1, and the Bulldogs, being down 4, will probably be seeing a bit more passive approach at the plate. And that one in there for a strike, and now we'll see Chesser probably up the ante a little bit.
Yeah, you gotta know the strike zone. You gotta know the pitches you can hit, and if he throws one that you can hit, you gotta get it.
The 1-1 to Chesser misses upstairs at his chin for ball 2.
One thing that Chesser does I really like is if you'll watch him, he tracks the ball all the way into the catcher's mitt. He doesn't just keep his head looking at the pitcher. He watches that ball go all the way by him.
And Chesser swings right at the shortstop, back to first. He digs it out of the dirt, and they've got Spigs doubled off. And another tough break for the Dogs.
John Michael Lewis.
Well, not bad base running, I guess, if you're a coach. But that ball was hit hard. Good play by the shortstop. Give Lewis County credit. They're making the plays right now.
Tanner made the play, threw on to first. A great pick over at first by Skelton as well. And now the Bulldogs are back to square one with 2 outs. And John Michael Lewis at the plate takes a first pitch breaking ball low for ball 1.
You learn that in Little League, that you freeze on the line drive. That's what you tell you, freeze on the line drive.
Lewis lets that one go outside for ball 2. And on that last at-bat, we really saw the unfair nature of baseball. You can hit the ball on the screws, but it can still result in a double play. 2-0, little bit outside, but called a strike, and the count goes 2-1 to Lewis, but definitely not a pitch you want him swinging at ahead in the count 2-0.
No.
Now he's swinging and bashes that one down the third base line. That's a fair ball. And Lewis got a late start. He's turning for second. And I believe it went through the fence out there and left, and that's going to be an automatic double for John Michael. So I guess it didn't really matter if he broke out of the box initially anyway. He'll still be on second. And it would have been unfortunate had that not have gone under the fence. Who knows what would have happened, but now you're wishing, man, if we had a runner on first, that's probably a big run.
I think everybody in the ballpark thought that was foul, except for the home plate umpire.
Well, from our vantage point, it looked like it might have gone right over the bag, which is tough for pretty much anybody else to even see or notice except for that home plate umpire.
Especially in high school where you don't have that third baseline ump. You have a guy floating in the infield depending on where a guy is on the bases, and then you've got the home plate guy that's got to make that decision. So,
and he's still a good 90 feet away.
Absolutely.
Either way, the Bulldogs have a runner on second. It's Ruger Toddy, courtesy running for John Michael Lewis. Andy Kraft with an RBI opportunity, and he takes ball 1 low.
You got to score this run right here. This would be a nice 1-run gift by Lewis County. Let's take advantage of it.
Kraft takes that one on the outside corner for a called strike. There is a wide open hole between first and second. If we see Kraft sit back and push something that direction, it's probably going to be a big run. The 1-1. And he goes the other way, but right at the second baseman. Ham throws over to Skelton, and that'll end the third inning. Lewis County still leads 5-1. John Michael Lewis will stay on the mound to start the 4th inning. And Coach Smithson, do you like the call to keep him out there?
Yeah, I do. I like to see him come back and maybe have a good inning right here, then maybe take him out. But you were talking about funny baseball. 1983, I was with the Texas Rangers. We were in extra innings with the Oakland A's in the Oakland Coliseum, and we scored 14 runs in the top of the 12th inning. I think that's a major league record. But when the Oakland players were actually going down and resting on one knee as our hitters were just peltering the outfield fence.
So the Bulldogs certainly looking to have an inning like that at the plate. But even before that can happen, they're going to need a 1-2-3 just to get some of that mojo back. The first pitch from Lewis, a breaking ball, just missed to Jackson Long.
You know, I always ask the umpire, breaking ball just misses. How did it not go over the plate if the catcher just caught it and you said it just missed? It had to cross the plate.
Long ahead 1-0. He singled his last time up into right field. Takes that one just off the plate, I guess, for ball 2.
That ball's not outside. That's a good pitch.
So Lewis now having to pitch into a soup can, it must feel like out there on the mound. The 2-0 to Long. This one called a strike.
I think that pitch was the one that was outside, and he called it a strike.
Coach's shame between those last pitches was not this past one, but the one before that he called a ball, was asking where that missed and was saying down. So maybe the zone has moved a little up.
Lewis again working up in the zone and gets a big swing and miss from Long to work the count back to 2-2.
One thing I'd like to see John Michael do and the catcher is I like to see him work a little faster. He's taking way too long between pitches. Get the ball, get the sign, throw the pitch.
We might see a pitch clock implemented after this game. You never know. The 2-2. Inside corner just off the plate for ball 3. The count runs full. But a great spot by Lewis.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good pitch.
Almost one you want to see Seal kind of stay down on and frame a little bit better. But again, some of that inexperience is there.
The 3-2 pitch. Chop foul over towards the third base coach. Nice hands. And Lewis giving him a little bit of a shout out.
Well, that's Coach Brewer. You know, all the Brewers in Lewis County, they played everything. So, wasn't he the East Hickman coach for a year?
They were.
Yeah, he was. He was the East Hickman head coach for a year.
Lewis fires. Slow roller, and that gets through the 3-4 hole and into right field. It's another single for Jackson Long, and he has been living in right field against the hard-throwing Lewis.
Well, that's their game plan. You could tell that the way they're approaching this game, John Michael, they know throws hard, and they're looking to hit the ball to right field, and they're doing a good job.
And now it's Cam Owen taking his second AB of the evening. He struck out swinging his first time up. Chesser cheating in at third base, expecting bunt.
Cam Owen was in a similar situation last time, if we remember.
Squares to bunt, pokes it foul down the right line.
I'm a little surprised their coach has not tried a straight steal tonight, knowing that he may not know that our catcher has never really caught before. So, you know, I'm going to take one shot at trying to steal a base right here.
The lead isn't too big, so maybe he's not a big runner, but no, I'm with you. I think you at least see what you got.
Squares right back to the mound. Lewis has a play at second, but chooses to go to first for the easy out. So one out, runner moves up to second.
Well, I can tell you, we had a rule. As if I was pitching right there and it was a sacrifice bunt situation, one hop back to the pitcher, automatic go to second. 2 hops to the pitcher, go to first. He had to really play at second. He had a chance to get the lead runner there.
But if you're Lewis, you've been out there on the mound for a while, you're probably just looking to guarantee one out after the struggle that was the last inning. but I can only guess what's going on through the mind of John Michael. Now the lineup rolls back over to Maddox Tanner. He's reached base twice tonight.
Yeah, he's had 2 good at bats right here. So John Michael's got to be careful. We can't give up any more runs.
And Spiggs playing pretty deep in the hole at shortstop. And Bates holding on the runner at second. So again, a wide open hole on that right side of the infield. The pitch misses down, corralled by Seal.
Yeah, I guess the thinking tendency here. I mean, he led off the game with a base hit through the third base shortstop hole. Hit a pretty hard ball to the center fielder. You know, right now so far he's worked middle to pull side. So maybe they're just going off tendency, and we'll hold him with our second baseman. Looks like catcher going to the mound for a chat.
We may have a change coming up right here. I saw Coach DeShane tell Seal to go talk to the pitcher on the mound. Usually mean that something's up.
So why is that? Is it just giving Coach DeShane some time to think about it?
Or maybe give the guy, I don't know, I didn't look to see if anybody ran in from the bullpen, but you never know what's going on right here.
Or it could be just Kylan Seal trying to talk up his pitcher a little bit, maybe giving him some words of encouragement.
And they may have give a pickoff sign there, and somebody missed a sign, and they just want to make sure everybody's on the same page right here.
And last night, Colbs, we saw a lot of Lewis County guys at second maybe relaying some signs at the plate, so maybe trying to talk through that possibility.
Yeah, it could be any of those. Could also just be, you just got hit and then started a guy 2-0. Really just want to, make sure, hey, are we comfortable here? Are we confident? He's up to 75 pitches now, so you're getting late into his pitch count.
And Tanner's 2-0 swinging and fouls that one down into the ravine.
He challenged him right there. He's got to get his control back, control his emotions a little bit, make a good pitch right here.
Lewis comes set. Delivers. Great pitch fouled off by Tanner.
Might have been his best breaking ball he's thrown all night. He had his hand on top of that ball. Release point was good, and you saw that wasn't just a spinner. That was a hard biter. That ball had some break to it, and Tanner swung right over the top.
Yeah, and I think the hitter sometimes tells you how good something is, too. I mean, him flailing like that, almost like not expecting the late movement and the verticality there. So, yeah, I'm right with you. That's a really good pitch to get back to the 2-2 count and have a chance to strike a guy out here.
The 2-2. Down in the dirt, great block by Seal, keeps it in front of him, and that's going to keep Long stationed at second.
I think this may be, if he doesn't get him right here, this will be his last pitch. I think he's got somebody ready to come in.
Now, we know we saw the second baseman, Carter Bates, warming up during that last half inning when the Dogs were hitting, so that would be my guess. Also, we've seen some good things out of Carter Bates the last 2 times he's pitched.
The 3-2, line to right field, Bates coming in, makes the catch on the move, and that's 2 outs. A big pitch from John Michael Lewis.
Nice play by Wyatt out there. I tell you, to me, right field is the toughest position to play because that ball is always either breaking into you or breaking away from you. And he got a good jump on that ball. That ball was, I thought it was a base hit off the bat, but he got a good jump, made a nice play, got the ball in quick.
Yeah, he was in a full sprint. That thing was dying on him, too, so you're really having to not only go get the ball and make sure you can get to the spot, but you're also worried about this guy. Does he tag and go to third? So really, really good job by Wyatt Bates out there in right field.
Well, we need to save this run. This is a big part of the game right here. Save this run and let's get some.
And although they aren't super likely, it's always good for the morale to keep it in Grand Slam territory. I know you mentioned that a couple weeks ago, Colby. Nasty breaking ball. Gets a swing and a miss from Bean.
You can tell that was kind of funny. Bean holding that finish and looking at the dugout like, man, that was pretty good pitch right there. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap.
Yeah, you can tell their game plan is set fastball and take breaking ball, and he's fooled them. The two best curveballs he's thrown.
Bean is 1 for 2 on the night. Another swing and a miss. He flew out to center field and singled in the left field and also came around to score his last time up. And he bats number 2 for a reason. A tough out, and Lewis is going to have to earn it. And he's already way ahead, 0-2 with 2 outs, long standing on second.
This would be really important to get this out right here to kind of break up that top 4 guys or whatever, because that's what kind of killed you that last inning, all of them getting a chance to hit. If you can break them up and separate them and get half this inning, half the next, that would be pretty huge if John Michael were to come back out there.
Divide and conquer, as they say.
Absolutely. It's true.
Pitch of the game right here.
The 0-2. And that ball skied into left field. Major Qualls drifting over. He's camped out under it. He makes the play, and that ends the top half of the fourth. So a runner reaches, but he's stranded out at second. Now the Bulldogs looking to get the bats going when we come back. So we see Keegan Clayton back out there for inning number 4. He's pitched 3 innings with 3 hits, 1 run, 1 of those runs earned, 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. But Clayton has also been doing a lot of work at the plate. A couple of big doubles out to center field. He even came across to score his second time up. So talking about how dangerous Clayton has been at the plate, Coach Smithson, who was the hitter that gave you the most trouble in the big leagues?
Wow. You know, Don Mattingly was a tough out for me because their Yankee lineup was unbelievable. Mattingly, they just had Reggie Jackson. Their lineup was really good, but Mattingly was a tough left-handed hitter. Lefties were tough on me. My ball sunk low and away. I was a sinker slider guy. And, of course, George Brett was always tough. Great hitter. But the one I really had the most trouble with, you're not even probably going to know who it is, was Jimmy Gantner, the second baseman for the Milwaukee Brewers. Their lineup was so loaded that by the time he hit 8th, I think, I don't know if I was let down when he come up, but I could not get him out. And he hit me with a line drive right in the head one day in the Metrodome and knocked me out for several minutes. But he was a tough out. Hey, big league lineups, especially in the American League, they were all the hitters could hit. So they were all tough.
Well, even after taking that line drive, you still seem as sharp as ever.
I was gonna say we don't have a guest on here and ask them what their lowlights are. Who did you own in the big leagues? Do you remember one guy you were just like, yeah, this is an out every time?
Yeah, actually I do. Tony Armas, who played with the Red Sox, he was an outfielder. He was 0 for 48 against me.
Well, if he's listening to this, you're making him replay some bad memories.
Well, if he is, he's from Venezuela, and I remember I played the winter ball in Venezuela, and he was a teammate of mine, and he told me, he said, I don't know what it is, but I can't hit you. And I said, I know you can. I wish you could bat every time. And it was good. It was fun.
So in the bottom of the fourth, it's Carter Bates starting things off for these Hickman County Bulldogs. It'll be 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Dogs, and Bates, he reached on a base hit his last time up, looking to replicate that here as he serves as the leadoff man. He singled in the left field, takes that one for a strike. He's still way ahead in the count, 3-1.
That's a good take. That was not a pitch to hit. He took a good strike right there. That's what you got to do. Take another one. There you go.
Also in there for a strike. The count runs full 3-2, but Bates might be a bit more aggressive on the 3-2 pitch.
It better be awake for a breaking ball right here. He might try to spin one right here.
The 3-2 smacked in the left field. Great piece of hitting by Bates, and he reaches with a leadoff single.
24, Kylan Seals.
Yeah, you can tell when in doubt for this guy on the mound for Clayton, he likes that little off speed to come back to the plate, which for a finesse lefty that kind of makes sense. But great job by Carter Bates to stay on it, wait for it to get deep and really just take an aggressive swing at it.
Now it's Kylan Seal. He's 0 for 1 on the day. Leg kick, chopped foul into the Bulldog dugout. And we saw Kylan Seal hit one probably as far as we've seen any Bulldog hit one this year yesterday. That ball went back to the left field wall. It was a fantastic play by Phoenix McDonald to corral it on what would be the warning track, but most high schools don't have those, I guess. That breaking ball just misses outside, broke a little bit too late.
You know, Colin's got all the tools. I mean, he looks like a baseball player, but like I said, sometimes high school is unfair. We only get to play about 35 games, and it's hard to really get your mojo going.
1-1, another breaking ball. This one misses way outside in the other batter's box.
Well, we got to get some base runners to get in their bullpen, just see what they've got besides their starters.
And speaking of that, they used probably their best arm out of the pen yesterday. So you really that'd be a great thing to see, just because you saw what in high school, especially at this level, you usually only have like one dominant arm back there if you have one. So you would think they used them last night. So yeah, that'd be a pretty solid game plan for sure at this point.
Clayton also getting up there in pitch count. Seal ground ball to second. A little bit of a slow roller to second for 1, on to first. He's safe. So Lewis only able to get the 4-6 put out at second base.
Number 7, Wyatt Bates.
And being ahead in the count like that, 3-1, it goes back to what we were saying earlier. These Bulldogs, more often than not, are going to be aggressive in the box.
Yeah, you know, he got fooled just a little bit out in front, hit the ball to second. At least they only got one. So got Wyatt. We need to get Wyatt going right here.
And for as big and as strong as Kylan Seal is, people forget how fast he can be as well.
And last time we saw Wyatt Bates, he drove home the only run so far on a RBI single. And then, if we remember, he got out from kind of running into the ball. An unfortunate plate appearance right there. But it's be big to move the line, as we see a pick behind. And that's not Seal over there. Who is that?
That's Jackson Smith in there to courtesy run.
Jackie needs to get his head in the game. He was not even looking at the catcher right there and needs to pay attention.
High leg kick from Clayton. Pitch. Bates pops it to right. Falling fast. And he missed it out and right. And that one's going to roll for a while.
Go, Jackie.
Bates shoots through second. And he'll stop at third. So Smith at third. Bates on second. So put the ball in play and good things will happen.
This is high school baseball. You never know. Put the ball in play. You're exactly right. A lot of things can happen. So get the ball, hit it, and put it in play.
And we know how difficult, because we just talked about it, that right field position can be. That ball was dropping. Even though Wyatt Bates made a play like that earlier, he made it look a lot easier than it was.
Yeah, he did. That ball was really dropping on him. I think he might have lost it in the lights, the way he sort of played that.
So now the manager for the Panthers coming out to have a chat with his pitcher and the rest of his infield. And if you recall, the last time he was up, it's Jackson Bates stepping in. He smoked one between the first and second baseman, but it was that unfortunate happenstance that it hit off Wyatt Bates, and, you know, those things happen.
Yeah, it's a tough break for the Dogs, but, there's not much more to say, right? It's just a tough break. You hope he gets up there and has a similar swing, though, because that swing produces 2 runs right here.
Sure, take a similar approach. I mean, look second base, hit a line drive second.
And for those keeping score at home, shout out to Riley Qualls, who is in the ballpark tonight. That is a double for Wyatt Bates. I'm not giving an error on that. That's a double all day long.
Jackson Bates.
So Jackson Bates with one of the more pivotal at-bats we've seen tonight. The Bulldogs, who trail by 4 in the bottom of the 4th inning, have been looking for something, and a big breakthrough potentially looming on the horizon. Clayton fires. That one misses outside.
Clayton's already up to 61 pitches, so just keep that in mind as we get deeper into this one.
Well, Coach Duchesne needs to talk to the runner on third. I don't know if he's a young guy. I know looks like he hadn't played much, but a wild pitch, he's got to make sure he can score.
The pitch to Bates. This one misses down for ball 2.
Yeah, and we talked a lot, Coach Smithson, last week about how important secondary leads are, especially in those wild pitch pass ball scenarios. So that it's important for these guys to get a good secondary.
The 2-0 pitch. Bates is swinging and fouls it back, but he seems to be on it.
Yeah, I like that. It was a good swing. He had a good approach. He was looking to shoot the ball to right field. He took 2 balls, and the guy threw the ball over the plate, and he went after it. I like it.
Clayton comes set, delivers. Fastball running inside, and again, Bates fouls it back.
You know, there were certain guys you just look at. I always call it, hey, this guy looks hitterish. Well, this young Bates kid looks hitterish. He looks like he knows what he's doing up there.
The count goes 2-2. The pitch to Bates misses well outside. Count goes full 3-2.
And you could tell he took that pitch. I mean, that was a good take. He tracked it the whole way. He didn't jump at it. He was nice and calm, and he took it.
I'm almost thinking that he goes back to that breaking pitch that finishes out.
But he goes with the fastball, misses down low, and a great at-bat by Jackson Bates to load the bases for Major Qualls, who recorded their only run of the night with that RBI double that brought Kylan Seal home.
Well, let's give the umpire a little credit here. Now, his strike zone, obviously, he's been consistent with it, because I thought those last 2 pitches might have been strikes, but he called them balls the same way he did against us. So he's been consistent.
And now Coach DeShane having a conversation with the home plate umpire. And I think we're going to see a pitching change from Lewis County, as with 66 pitches, Clayton will exit the game, and jogging in from center field is Dakota Hull.
Yeah, well, they called my bluff. I said earlier in the ball game that we saw their best arm out of the pen, and he's jogging right back in. Now, admittedly, he didn't throw. I think he threw like 11 pitches in 1 inning, so he's fresh. But yeah, I was really hoping to not see him again. Dog's really got to bear down. Bases loaded here.
So what is it? You can throw 25 pitches and come back the next day? I believe that's right. So he's eligible to come back.
But how awesome is it for Lewis County, if you're a Panther fan, to know you've got a guy sitting out there in center field that can come in at a moment's notice?
Yeah, and if he's anything like he was last night, man, this is going to be fun to watch. He throws hard. He spots things better than, like, he's not just a thrower, right? He spotted things really well last night. Again, only saw like 11 pitches, but that's really all he needed to get through the game. The end of the game.
But Do Up for the Bulldogs is a guy that has seemed to be getting better and better and better with each progressive game, and that is the 9-hole hitter Major Qualls. And a lot of times in high school, maybe you put the weaker guy in that 9-hole, but that is absolutely not the case for these Hickman County Bulldogs. If anything, I would consider it almost a second leadoff. You have a guy that can put the bat on the ball, who runs really well, and that's exactly what we need right now.
Well, I can understand what the Lewis County manager's doing. You know, he's playing Hickman County, obviously big rival, but this is a big district game. You know, we were 9-2 last year in our district. He knows that. He knows that probably Riverside's, I don't know what they've got. They're usually pretty good in baseball, but if he can get an early sweep in the district against Hickman County, who's not only his rival, but gives him a 2-game lead over us, then I'm going for it. I would do the same thing. I'm bringing in my next best guy, and I'm going to shut the door right here.
Well, and we talked about it last night before we found out that literally none of the stream was heard by anybody. But we talked about how intense this rivalry has gotten. Now, it's always been a rivalry. I know at least it was whenever me and Colby were in high school. But it seems like with basketball, that rivalry really has spread across all sports, and there is nothing that each of these schools want to do more than beat the other. The Bulldogs want nothing more than to beat the Panthers in whatever sport they can, and vice versa. So I don't blame them at all for throwing their best guys, trying to get that early district sweep, because it's a big game for multiple reasons. As you said, a rivalry and district. So now the omen falls on the 9-hole guy, Major Qualls, to do some damage with the bases loaded, and he represents the tying run at the plate.
And I think to kind of sum up what we're saying here, this is just like Kylan Seal, another guy coming from basketball, didn't really get the timing and all that down as much as the other guys in the lineup, but we're starting to see that more, right? We're starting to see good at bats. We're starting to see good takes. Let's see if he can, pull something off right here.
And the first pitch by Hull in there for a strike. Working again, Qualls pops that one up. First baseman gives it a look, but it's out of play off the first base dugout.
He's in a hole, 0-2. He's got to be tough right here. Bear down, Major, and put the bat on the ball. Because they're not going to throw him out. This guy's got speed, I think. I think he's pretty fast, right?
Something like that.
Something like that. So I don't think he's going to hit a double play. Put the ball on the ground.
I would say he moves a lot faster than me, but that's not saying much.
A lot of people move faster than us, Josh.
Yeah, sadly. 0-2, 1 out, bases loaded, Major Qualls at the plate. Hole delivers. Missing down and away for ball 1. Great take by Qualls.
Good take. Catcher set up outside, threw one low and away, and he took it.
And Hole works very fast on the mound. Delivers again. And Qualls out in front, goes down swinging, and now it's 2 out, bases loaded, and the Dogs are back to the top of their order. Number 1, Aiden Spiegelmeyer. And with all things considered, he is a guy you definitely want up in this spot.
Yeah, this is the part of the lineup that you want up. Just to close the book on that last. Yeah, I don't think we saw a changeup from Hole last night, but man, that was a pretty good one.
First pitch to Spiegelmeyer has to spin out of the way.
You know, you sure like to see him take that in the shoulder. You know what I mean?
Hole works again. Swing and a miss from Spiegelmeyer, and that one looked a little bit off balance.
Yeah, he threw him something off speed, and, Spig was trying to go in the gap. He just think base hit right here.
The 1-1 to Spigs. That one misses high for a ball, and these Bulldog hitters could certainly learn from how Lewis County approached John Michael Lewis and his velocity. Just sit back, punch something hard the opposite field. 2-1 to Spigs. Another swing and a miss.
Yeah,
Count goes even 2-2.
You really want to sit fastball here, react off of it. That doesn't mean bail out fastball, but you're just reacting off of it.
He's going to throw his off-speed pitch, whatever he threw. Major's coming right here.
That ball's down. Spiegelmeyer hits it well to left. And that's over his head in left field. 1 run scores. 2 run scores. Stop sign up at third. And Aiden Spiegelmeyer with a 2-strike, 2 RBI double. And the Bulldogs are not going away.
Man, I really thought the runner at first was going to score. I don't know if he didn't get a good jump. It was 2 outs. You're going on the crack of the bat. And I was hoping that third run was going to score right there.
I'm right there with you. I'm a bit surprised that I wish I would have actually noticed at the start of him running from first, but I'm right there with you. Either way, that's a big 2 runs to get back in this ball game.
So Braden Chesser is 0 for 2 tonight, but is due for something big here. Takes the first pitch for a strike. Runners on second and third. Kincaid Green stands at third. He courtesy ran, and Spiegelmeyer stands at second base after that big double. And Hole in the windup. The 0-1 pitch to Chesser. Breaking ball plunks off his helmet, and the bases are juiced for John Michael Lewis.
Now, this is a really niche thing, Coach Smithson, but for half a second I cringed because the bat was still up, and I know you saw that too. Not that anybody should look at that on the broadcast, but glad to hit his helmet, not the bat right there.
Well, you know what? Pitching at Vanderbilt, at Tennessee, we were playing at Vanderbilt. Bases loaded. Mike Wright was the hitter. Their All-American catcher.
First pitch to Lewis misses high for a ball.
I threw a heater inside, and he checked swing, and it hit the knob of his bat. 1 hop back to me. We turned a double play, and we win the game.
The Bulldogs need something big here from one of their heavy hitters, Lewis, who's in the count 1-1, 2 outs, bases loaded, tying run at second, and go-ahead run at first. And Lewis takes a big hack, comes up empty, and he's down in the count 1-2. And after having that rough inning back in the third, you know Lewis wants nothing more than a little bit of redemption. 1-2. And a big swing and a miss from Lewis, and he goes down on strikes. But the Bulldogs make it just a little bit closer. They put up a 2-spot. It's 5-3 Panthers when we come back in the 5th. It's going to be 3, 4, and 5 due up for the Panthers in the top of the 5th, starting with Dakota Hull. His last time up had that big 2 RBI single. And he came on the mound. He did surrender that 2-run double to Spiggs, but did a nice job of bearing down, working out of a bases-loaded jam. And Coach Smithson, we talked about that legendary list of hitters you faced in the big leagues. You brought up Reggie Jackson. Do you have any stories with Reggie Jackson that comes to your mind?
Yeah, but it's not a good one. My rookie year, he was playing with the California Angels, and I just got called up. I had 4 or 5 good starts, and I'm pitching on at the end of the season. He needed 1 home run for 30, and he needed 3 RBIs for 100. So, needless to say, he took me deep for a grand slam home run, and he got his 30th home run and his 100 RBIs.
Now, that wasn't the story I've been told.
You know,
You didn't have any altercations with Reggie, did you?
no, not Reggie. Now, we had a couple scuffles. We had a big fight with Detroit one year in Detroit. Ron Davis, big old Texan, was our reliever. He used to pitch for the Yankees, and I can't remember the guy. He hit somebody, and it was a Donnybrook. It was about a 25-minute fight, and back in the day, you know, you wore spikes, and baseball fights were pretty dangerous. Now, I will tell you Reggie Jackson's story. My rookie year in Texas, we got in a fight with the Angels, and I wasn't pitching. I was sitting in the dugout, and both benches cleared, and I felt this guy grab me from behind, and I heard him say, "Rookie, me and you are getting out of the way so we don't get hurt." And I turned around, and it was Reggie Jackson.
I think that was the story that you told me several years ago. And that first pitch grounded sharply past the diving Chesser, and Hull's going for second. Throw comes in, pulls him a little bit off the bag, and it's a leadoff double for Dakota Hull. And John Michael Lewis, who's over 80 pitches, still out there on the mound.
Yeah, hey, this Hull kid's a good player. You can tell he's an athlete. I think he played basketball, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, he was their guy in basketball. He was a phenomenal player on the court, was one of their leaders in getting to the state tournament.
Yeah, you can tell he's a real athlete. He's showing his wares tonight.
And now stepping up for the Panthers is somebody that John Michael probably would rather not pitch to, being Keegan Clayton. He's 2 for 2 with a couple of big doubles that he hit out to center field. And we can see now Andy Kraft cheating back a few steps from the wall.
You know, as a hitter, I know he's trying to knock the run in right here, but he's also trying to just hit a ground ball to second, move this runner up. This is a big run for Lewis County. We need to hold him right here.
First baseman Bates cheating in on the grass. First pitch to Clayton. Pops that one out of play, and it's heading towards the softball field and the concession stand.
I think it's interesting too where they have Carter Bates situated at second. Really tucked in the hole over there. I know that they've got Spiggs at short, kind of helping to corral the runner back to second, so he's got that job. So Carter Bates being that far in the hole is pretty interesting to me here.
Well, Spig almost has to stay there. If not, he'll steal third.
Pitch inside off the glove of Seal, and Hull got about halfway to third, but put on the brakes and retreated back to second. Good hustle by Seal to keep Hull right where he is.
Hull was about a step or two from maybe making Seal throw that ball too, I would think.
Counts even 1-1 to Clayton. Lewis delivers. Nasty breaking ball in the dirt. Seal blocks it up, keeps it in front of him. And I think right now, Lewis is definitely respecting the bat of Clayton, just trying to get him to chase.
Yeah, he's trying to save that run. That's what he's got to do. He's just really got to get his breaking ball over. He's really struggling right now with it.
It's a 2-1 count. Nobody out, runner on second after the Dakota Hull double. The pitch pops straight up. And that one's going to head back towards us in the press box and bounces over near the tennis courts.
A good fastball away right here. If he could paint that outside corner, it looks like this kid's pulling off just a little bit. I mean, he's got some good swings at the ball, but make him hit the ball. If he's going to hit it, make him hit it to the left side.
And again, there is that big hole on the left side with Spiggs having to hold on hole at second. The pitch bounces up the seal, and it's going to roll towards the Bulldog dugout. Nobody was covering home, and if Hull was rounding hard, he might have had a chance to score.
Yeah, John Michael's got to keep his head in the game. He's got to cover home right there. Well, don't be. This would be a good time for this kid just to push bunt one, push it down first, and they score the run.
That was a weird one too that got away. I mean, it was about 5 inches from going to the dugout too, which is another base for Hull.
The 3-2 pitch outside corner just missed it for ball 4. Runners at the corners with nobody out, and John Michael creeping up on 90
Now up,
pitches
number
tonight.
15, Rylan Ham.
And now it's Rylan Ham who's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. And it looks like Coach Deshane's going to be making the call to the bullpen, or in this instance, probably making the call to second base for Carter Bates.
Yeah, it's probably a good change, and let's see, let's him go one more hitter and try to get a strikeout right here. They're gonna put their runner in motion from first. I think did they try the first third play last night with a double steal? That's in play right here. There's a lot of things in play with the first and third and nobody out. So you hope your pitcher could get a strikeout right here and hopefully maybe could get a double play ball on a hard ground ball. But we'll see what Lewis does.
The two that I remember last night, first and third situations, it was almost a straight steal trying to get the catcher to throw that throw to second, so the guy on third can steal home, and dogs didn't bite either time, if I'm remembering right.
We saw one throw quickly back to the pitcher and try to bait the runner at third. Then we saw one where the catcher pump faked a throw and then just tossed it back to Warren on the mound.
Now, I have seen a play where the runner from first will just start going and stop right in the baseline at second and make you do something. Just stand there and make you make a play on him. And as soon as you turn your back, pitcher turns his back to throw, this guy goes.
I remember one version of that when me and Josh were in high school. Coach Chesser had us literally fall in that spot to try to get the pitcher to make his eyes go that way so the runner could score. So I don't know if we ever did that, but I remember practicing it a lot.
I just remember we took it from the Florida Gators who used it. Runner takes off, throws back to the pitcher, almost got away from Lewis. Nice job to come off the mound and snag that one before it would have been an easy run for the Panthers. So now it's second and third, nobody out for Rylan Ham, and Lewis has had his number so far tonight. Ham's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. No bigger spot for one here as the infield comes back in.
This guy's had 2 strikeouts tonight, is that correct?
Those swing.
I'd be afraid of watching safety squeeze right here.
Yeah, I think everything's on the table, especially with no outs. And
no square. He's swinging and fouls that one back down into the woods. And that was pitch number 90 for John Michael.
Now, right behind Colt Skelton is Jackson Long, who has 2 singles tonight and scored a run. So maybe they're thinking we got to free it bat right here. Maybe we can drive in a run with Colt Skelton. We know we have something with Jackson Long behind him.
And that one looked pretty good, but the umpire says it misses just low. So Lewis being squeezed a bit.
Only thing I could think was the catcher stood up and he didn't see it. That's the only thing I can tell you about that.
2 balls, 1 strike. The pitch, grounded sharply to third. It goes under the glove of Spiegelmeyer. Hull will score. Clayton stops at third. And again, it's runners on the corners with no out. Lewis now leads 6-3.
Now up, number
Well,
7, Phoenix.
you know, I know Spig hadn't played a lot short, but you don't try to backhand there. You come up, you square the ball up, you make the play to home. He tried to backhand and make a throw where he had plenty of time to catch the ball in the middle of his body, and he still had time to get the guy at home.
And Stiggs has a fantastic arm. And Hull, who runs pretty well, but not just an absolute burner on the base paths. I think they definitely might have had a play, but Ham did what he needed to do. I mean, his morale could have easily have been down. He could have walked up the plate dragging his bat, but even with 2 strikeouts, just puts a ball in play and widens that lead.
Good baseball. That's winning baseball right there.
Yeah, it's almost like like Coach Smithson said, I think he had the time to kind of square that ball up and fire a missile home. It's just like his eyes he just was too worried about the runner, which obviously you can't blame him for. But you got to stay locked into that and have your eyes meet the ball to the glove and make sure you can get that out. Because now you're back in a similar situation.
Runner breaks for second. Throw down, but John Michael intercepts it on the mound.
Usually the play we would run in the major leagues right there on a double steal. Our second baseman would cheat in just a little bit. Even we knew the shortstop was taking the throw. Second baseman would break behind the pitcher, and the throw would go through the pitcher, and the second baseman refereed the play. If the guy was not running, he saw that, and he'd let the ball go through to the shortstop, and we'd try to get the guy at second. If the guy from third left, second baseman would cut it and make the throw home.
Here's the pitch with the infield in there for a called strike, count even 1-1 to Phoenix McDonald. McDonald's 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk.
I know you're really asking for a lot right here with John Michael at 94 pitches, but a strikeout here would be probably the biggest of the night.
And that ball's lined to center field. That's down for a base hit. 1 run will score. The second run rounding third. He'll score standing. And the Panthers have widened it 8-3.
Good piece of hitting right there. That was a nice fastball on the inside corner. He pulled his hands in, put the head of the bat on it, line drive center field.
And now it feels like just as the Bulldogs were starting to gain a little bit of ground in that last inning, just like that, back to square one. And you got to give credit to Lewis County. They have been putting together great at-bats these last 2 nights.
Yeah, you got to give the other team credit. You're exactly right. They're playing winning baseball, putting the bat on the ball, good base running, good defense. So that's what you want to do.
And now Coach DeShane is having a conversation on the mound with Lewis, and still no signs yet of a new arm. So that will be the night. Yes, that will be the end of the night for John Michael Lewis as he shakes the hand of his catcher, and he'll walk off the field. And, man, John Michael had to work tonight through 96 pitches, through 4 innings of work. And, you know, John Michael's probably going to wish he had tonight back, but he had some bright spots as well through these few times through the order. It feels like a lot of the runs they gave up, some were earned hits, but there were a lot that probably resulted in just, you know, those wild pitches, pass balls, where if you're just a bit more precise pitching and catching, you might limit those.
Yeah, I think one of the things he'll learn when he gets to junior college, when he gets to Columbia State, if they work him as a pitcher, he'll have to come up with something, a straight change that he can throw for strikes. You know, he's really struggling with his breaking ball. But when he gets to college, you know, when you get to work a lot more, you're throwing every day and your stamina gets increased, and he'll hear stuff from a different coach. You know, a lot of times coming up through the minor leagues with the Red Sox, we had older, experienced coaches. We had old guys. And each level, in A-ball, they taught us how to throw a sinker. I got to AA in Bristol. They worked on the breaking ball. Then when I got to AAA, we had an ex-big league pitching coach, and I always threw a slider. And he said, "What did they tell you to do in AA?" And they said, "Well, they was really working on a curveball." He said, "I'm going to give you a little advice." He said, "You can have an average curveball and an average slider, or you can have a great curveball or a great slider." He said, "You've got to pick out what breaking ball you want to throw and just do away with the other one." So I said, "I like the slider." He said, "Okay, that's what we're going to work on. We're going to work on your slider." And really, he helped me perfect that pitch quite a bit. So, you know, sometimes you can try to do a little bit too much. I played with a guy, Oil Can Boyd, who said had 10 different pitches. And I've seen actually Rich Gedman, the catcher, he quit giving him signs. Oil Can shake him off. He'd just say, "Throw it, I'll catch it." True story.
So now we're going to see a guy who's had phenomenal outing after phenomenal outing in Carter Bates. Now, we usually see him starting on the mound, but this time he's being used out of the bullpen, looking to keep that same efficiency, that same effectiveness Then he comes in with a runner on first, and the first pitch to Colt Skelton is over for a strike, and Skelton's 0 for 2, struck out swinging both times.
This might be one of those situations where Coach Duchesne's just trying to get out of this inning and then save him for Thursday or Friday in one of those games.
But it is going to take some work from Carter Bates. Still has to get all 3 outs.
Yeah, we've seen Carter Bates be really, really good. We talked about how reliable he was the last 2 starts. You're not going to see as much velo, but he just throws strikes. And at some point, that's what you need, right? Like, I'd rather my guys throw strikes and be right on cue, throws the ball. But those strikes and works eye levels and works, like, tunneling and zone. Like, he's more of a pitcher, and I enjoy watching him. I've enjoyed the last 2 games from him, honestly.
Of course, Bates came off of that 5-inning performance against Kenwood, a complete game in a run rule where he struck out 10 guys. So even though he's not a huge velocity guy, he's able to execute so well that he's able to generate all those swing and misses and even buckle some knees with breaking balls. And he gives a look over to the runner at first, back in safely.
And I think a huge thing there, too, is 10 strikeouts. Very impressive. 1 walk. So, like, that strikeout to walk ratio was pretty elite. And he limited his pitches, too. Like, he did the trifecta you kind of look at for a starter. Yeah, he's been pretty great.
Well, you want to, if I'm an infielder, I'm not saying who I'd rather play behind, but with Carter, he works fast, he throws strikes, gets a lot of ground balls. If I'm an infielder, that's the kind of guy I want to play behind because I know I'm going to get some action. I'm more in the game than a pitcher that strikes a bunch of guys out. But he just got him a strikeout, which we needed.
So right on cue, Carter Bates gets a big swing and a miss from Skelton. So the first man he faces goes down on strike. So a great start for Bates, and now he's going to have to contend with Jackson Long, who's been swinging a hot stick, is 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. The first pitch to Long misses upstairs for a ball, and the throw back from Seal gets away from Bates, but a nice job of backing him up is Spiegelmeyer. Now, Coach Smithson in the bigs, do you have any catchers that threw one past you and it kind of makes you a little mad out there on the mound because you're already having to work out there?
No, most of my catchers are pretty good. Most big league catchers will go down to one knee. I've never really noticed that. But Rick Cerrone, who we got from the Yankees when I played with the Red Sox, he was a really smart guy. Learned a lot just watching him catch. Those guys will go down to one knee and lob it back. And if you'll notice when they throw the bases in warm-ups, they don't ever throw hard. Just like Cal Ripken at short. If you watch Cal Ripken play, a Hall of Famer, probably one of the greatest players I've ever played against. Every throw to first, if he had to hit a ground ball to short, it was a bang-bang play every time. Only because he threw hard enough to get you out.
And that pitch to Long was fouled back over the press box. And now Bates with 2 strikes on Long. The 1-2 pitch. Kicks and fires. Chopper down the third baseline, foul, and we saw a great play by the Lewis County third base coach earlier. This time he makes a business decision and just steps out of the way.
It's a tough hop. You know, it's an in-betweener right there. You either got to come aggressively get it or let it hop and come get it. So maybe that's something he'll tell his guys when he gets back to the dugout. I don't know.
The 2-strike pitch again. This one way outside for ball 2. Counts even at 2-2.
Yeah, he opened his hips up really bad right there. He's got to keep his hips closed and get that front foot on the ground to throw that breaking ball.
Quick slide step, and again it's fouled off by Long, and I'm really impressed by the at-bats Jackson Long has been taking tonight. He didn't look bad yesterday, but he's really upped his game even more so tonight.
Yeah, hitting the ball all over the field. Third inning he hit a ball that dropped in front of Wyatt Bates over there. It scored a run in that inning too, and then hit another one that way. So right now Tennessee is kind of punch it right, which when you're locked in, that's kind of what you're doing is you're hitting the ball the other way.
The 2-2 pitch, and instead of going with it, he lines it in the left field. Major Qualls fields it on a bounce and gets it in a hurry, but it's a 1-out base hit for Jackson Long, a 3-for-3 night for that young man.
This will go unnoticed, but really good cut, really good play, and get around that ball from Major Qualls out there. It was very important to cut that ball off and make sure the guy didn't have any chance of going to third. So pretty good play out there in the left field. But yeah, Mr. Long is having a good night.
Yeah, you're right. It was a good play by Major. Hit his cutoff man right in the chest and then froze that guy at second.
And that's Phoenix McDonald running out at second for Lewis County. We know how fast that young man is. We saw him tracking down balls in left field yesterday and today. So if that ball gets past Qualls, that's an easy run standing up. So a great play by Major to limit it to first and second, but now Bates desperately needing a ground ball. And it's first pitch swinging by Cam Owen, and it's a swing and a miss, 0-1.
We needed one hopper right to the third baseman out here. Little play by Chester, third, 5-3, double play. That's what we're looking for.
Cam Owen stands in, the right fielder, has a strikeout swinging on the night and a sac bunt.
That sac bunt's oftentimes what you want to see out of your 9-hole guy, just being productive. And that pitch misses high by Bates, evens the count 1-1.
Not a true straight changeup. You know, you can see he changes his motion with it. So a true changeup, a hitter's hitting off your fastball motion, and he's throwing his motion up a little bit.
Yeah, you want to disguise and make it look the exact same. Another good bunt by the 9-hole hitter.
Bates Fields only played a first. It's a low throw, but caught by Bates for the out. So Bates to Bates, and the Dogs have two away for the leadoff hitter, Maddox Tanner. 2 runners in scoring position, and we've said this a lot, but it feels like yet another crucial at-bat. A base hit here truthfully blows it wide open.
Yeah, this is a big out right here. Get another ground ball, and let's get some runs.
First pitch to Tanner, misses down and away. Nice block by Seal. We've already seen a couple of runs scored tonight because of wild pitches or pass balls, so Seal going to have to do his best to become a brick wall. Tanner's 2 for 3 on the night with a couple of base hits, and he flied out to right fielder Wyatt Bates, if you remember, when he had to run in strong and make that play on the move. Carter will take another one of those here for sure. That pitch misses up and in, and Tanner has to limbo out of the way.
You've got a free base, but it's not like you'd rather face this guy or the next. It's your 1 and 2 hitters for Lewis County. So maybe if you throw another ball right here, maybe you just let him go and not try to fight back and give him something to hit right here.
It really feels like a true pick your poison moment for Carter on the mound. And Tanner's way ahead, 2-0 in the count. And that pitch misses way up out of the zone and a little bit outside.
Yeah, you can tell he's aiming it. It's like he's sort of throwing darts instead of taking it, throwing it. See your target and throw it.
The 3-0 pitch in there for a strike. Caught the bottom third of the zone. And maybe that's going to be Carter's game plan. Try to claw back, just dotting the corners. Not wanting to give him anything over the heart of the plate. The 3-1 pitch. Popped him up. Spiegelmeyer backpedaling. Qualls calls him off, and he can't handle it out in left. And 2 more runners will score, and Tanner's going to take second base on the E7.
Well, I don't know if there was miscommunication out there or what. I thought Spig was there, and I don't know if he called it, but I don't. You know, when the outfielder calls you off, you got to get out of the way. Now, it looks like what happened.
Well, on that play there, I don't think anybody will question that Major Qualls probably had the easier play. Everyone says it's always easier catching a ball running forward than it is going back, especially in Spiegelmeyer's case. He wasn't turning and sprinting. He was like backpedaling. It's a miracle he didn't trip.
Right. Yeah, you're exactly right. That's Qualls' play all the way.
But now Bates going to have to keep working at 21 pitches, and as you said earlier, Coach, the number to watch is 25. Slide step, ground ball back up the middle. Spiegelmeyer charging, can't make a play. It's into center field, and that's going to be another run for the Panthers, an RBI single for Braylon Bean.
Yeah, just nothing you can do. A CNI single right there. I'd like to see Spick take a little better angle for that. So he sort of took his angle into the infield instead of angling out to the outfield. It would have been a tough play even if he had caught it.
And Colby, we've seen over these last few weeks that we've been calling these games, Hickman County has won because they've taken advantage of defensive miscues by other teams, and it seems like that same mode of play has come back and is now being used against them.
It's a big thing in high school sports. Let the other team make the mistakes and you take advantage of them, and it's happened more than a couple times tonight. So, but credit to Lewis County, they're putting the bat on the ball and doing what they need to do to produce runs. Not maybe sometimes the most traditional ways, but good things happen when you put the bat on the ball. You can't really do anything on a strikeout.
That pitch just misses high for a ball, and the count goes to 2-0 to Dakota Hull, who's 2 for 3.
The hard thing about high school baseball is when you get into a little bit of a downward spiral, which sort of seems like last 2 nights we hadn't played our best baseball, but you don't play enough games to say, well, we'll get them tomorrow. Now in the big leagues, you're playing every day, play 162 games. You can go into a 7 or 8 game losing skid and then come out of it, but high school baseball, you lose 7 or 8 games, the season is about 1/3 over, so that makes it tough.
And that one misses upstairs. The count goes to 3-1. I know occasionally I'll make a post on social media complaining about how my Cincinnati Reds lost, and I can always count on Matthew Dodson to reply. He's the first one to respond. He says, "Don't worry, Josh. There's still 234 games left in the season." So that kind of goes along with your point, but not the case for high school baseball.
Well, no, Josh, I have to tell you this for certain. There's a certainty here. The American League is the better league. You have to know that. You have to know that. You have to know that. We don't have the we used to not have the DH in the American League. All the true baseball. And then the National League comes in with the DH. I just don't know. I just don't know.
I'm under the belief that everybody should hit. I think if you're on the field, I think you should have to take your cuts. But I do understand wanting to preserve your arms because pitchers, they wear themselves out almost on a daily basis. So Bates loses Hull to the walk, and now it's the red-hot Clayton stepping into the left-handed batter's box. He is perfect on the night.
I can tell you a story. I hated hitting. I was a terrible hitter. Spring training with the Angels, my last year that I played, we were playing San Francisco Giants, and we were in their park, so the pitchers had to hit. So I come in relief, and sure enough, I'm the first batter up. And Steve Bedrosian was at the end of his career, and he was pitching with the Giants. He was throwing about 100. So when I walked up to the batter's box, I barely stepped into the box. And the umpire laughed at me and said, "Son, you need to come on up." I said, "I'm good, I'm good." He laughed, and he threw pitches and rung me up. And I said, "Thank you, sir," on my way back to the bed.
I never thought I would have something in common with a Major League Baseball player, but here we are. I, too, struck out on 3 pitches several times through my baseball career. Bates has 2 strikes on Clayton. Hard hit ball to second, and it's past the glove of John Michael, and another run will score. The runner shoots up to third, and Kraft is just now getting this ball in. Runners on the corners with 2 outs make it 12-3 Panthers.
Well, we have to keep them from scoring right here. Isn't there a 10-run rule in high school baseball?
Maybe it's 10 after 5. I know we did beat Kenwood on Friday with the run rule in the 5th inning. So the Bulldogs, they're going to have to tighten up because, obviously you don't want to lose in any fashion, but that run rule, that can hurt your confidence going forward more than just about anything else.
No doubt about it. And they're one run away. The only thing about it, if you think of if you're looking down the long end of this, is 2 games this weekend against Waverly, Thursday, Friday. Might not be a bad thing to just get it over in 5, save your pitching, and we'll go this weekend and try to get back on a winning streak.
I know something we talked about on the broadcast last night that didn't go through was back during my junior year, we trailed Lewis County over in Hohenwald by 9 runs going into the 7th inning. We battled back and took a 1-run lead. And then when Lewis County came up in the bottom half of the last inning, they got the bases loaded, 1 out, line drive to third base. Cam Peters makes the catch, steps on third, and we completed the comeback win that felt like it was impossible. And I've never seen Coach Chesser so excited in all my days. He ran So as we prepare for the bottom of the fifth, something I've noticed, this is my first year calling baseball. I've gotten a couple of seasons of football and basketball under my belt, but baseball was something that I knew was going to be a bit of a learning curve. But I think the thing I was least prepared for was the length of the games. Now, basketball, they played girls, guys. We were still in and out in probably 2.5 hours. But one game of baseball, we have lasted 2 hours, 45 minutes, pushing 3 hours before. So it's been something that I've had to get used to. But Coach Smithson, I know you're no stranger to long baseball games.
Well, it's coming up in April, the longest game in baseball history, 33 innings, took 8 hours and 49 minutes over a total of 3 days. It was the Saturday night before Easter. We were playing the Rochester Red Wings, who was the Baltimore Orioles AAA team. Cal Ripken played on that team. We were supposed to start at 7. A lady hit a light pole out into the parking lot. The lights didn't come on, so we didn't get the game started till about 8:30. Well, they scored a run at the top of the ninth. We score a run at the bottom of the ninth. We go extra innings. We get to the 22nd inning. They score a run, top of the 22nd. We score a run at the bottom of the 22nd. So it's getting past 12 o'clock curfew, and I'll let you call the pitch here.
And stepping in is Andy Kraft, and that first pitch misses down and away from Dakota Hull for ball one as Kraft tries to be a leadoff hitter, and they're going to need a lot of work to get back into this one.
So the game keeps going on, and the umpire did not have the curfew rule in his rule book. It was omitted. So at 5:30 on Easter Sunday morning, they finally got in touch with the commissioner, and they said, call the game. So 32 innings, the score was tied 2-2. Little side story of that, in the bottom of the 22nd, Wade Boggs was up, man on second, 2 outs. He hits a double off the wall, and everybody in our dugout was so mad at Wade Boggs for tying the game. We were ready to go home. But anyway, at the end of the 32nd inning, they called the game. Rochester has to leave and go play somebody on Sunday. So this was 1981. During the baseball strike, they come back to Pawtucket. We pick the game up in the top of the 33rd. We get them 1-2-3 in the 33rd, and we score in the bottom of the 33rd, and we won the game 3-2. Now, I got a funny story. I played with a guy, Louis Aponte, in Venezuela. He was a relief pitcher. So at 5:30 in the morning, when I took him home.
And that's a ground ball base hit in between the 5-6 hole for Carter Bates, and after the leadoff walk by Andy Kraft, the Bulldogs are in business. Runners on first and second, nobody out for Kylan Seal.
I take Louis home, and I let him out, and he lived in an upstairs apartment. So he walks up, and I'm waiting for him to go in, and I hear somebody yelling in Spanish, and he's yelling in Spanish, and he's pounding on the door. So he comes back down, and he says, my wife won't let me in. She thinks I've been out drinking all night. And she said, there's no way you playing baseball at 5:30 in the morning. So I had to take him back to the ballpark, and the general manager had to call his wife and said, nope, we've been playing baseball.
That's awesome.
So we're in the Hall of Fame for that. That'll be a record that'll never be broken, and something to really remember. I know it was a cold night in Pawtucket. You know, when the northeasters come in, wind was blowing in, misting blowing in. There were several balls that were bombs that blew back into the ballpark. But so that's one of my great baseball memories right there. I'll never forget that.
And we have a little bit of a conference on the mound. As Hull has had a bit of accuracy issues, some control issues to start this bottom of the fifth inning, with runners on first and second, one reached by way of a walk. And now we already see a ball in the dirt to Kylan Seal. But yeah, I remember this past year for the MLB World Series watching the Toronto Blue Jays against the Los Angeles Dodgers. I thought that was a long game. I was up till 2 in the morning, and it was in the 17th or 18th inning until that game finally ended. But that's nothing compared to 8 hours, 33 innings. That's unbelievable.
Our whole pitching staff pitched. I know Bruce Hurth was a starter. He was supposed to start on Sunday. I think he come in and pitched 10 innings. It was a great game. And the thing about it is there was only 2 errors made the whole game. But they had a guy that was 0 for 16. That's a bad month.
And Seal bashes that one to left field, going back, and we got a little bit of burnt toast out in left field. It's over the head of Phoenix McDonald. Runner being waved home, throw to the plate, not in time. It gets away from the catcher. And Ruger Toddy, who courtesy ran earlier, goes back to third, and Kylan Seal, we have been waiting for that swing from Kylan, finally has himself a double. and an RBI at that.
Number 7.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised the
Wyatt
cutoff man
Bates.
threw that ball home. He had the guy at third, dead to rights.
I thought he was turning to go to third, but maybe he's just dead set on trying to get that guy. I would be surprised if Hull stays in. He's at 22 pitches right now. So you got to think, like, I don't know how the rule is on back-to-back days with the 25 pitch rule on back-to-back days, but
I'm not sure. I should know this. I'm not sure if you can. I think you can pitch 3 days in a row if you stay
Okay.
under 25.
because he's at 22 right now.
Okay,
and
he's coming out.
I
so,
was thinking that last mound visit was maybe the, hey, this is your last guy visit.
yeah, he's
um,
gone. So
Yep.
he'll be able. Of course, they won't play on Wednesday, but they'll play Thursday, Friday
Yep,
for
yep.
sure.
Maybe save him for the weekend,
Yeah.
come do his job again. That
Right,
he
right.
did 2 days for them against the Dogs. But yeah, Kylan Seal, that we saw that same swing last night. Thought it was gone last night. Thought that one had a chance. It's getting a little colder, so maybe just didn't have enough oomph behind it. But really good swing,
Yeah.
really good at bat.
This is what the Bulldogs wanted right here, to get deeper in their bullpen. These may be some young guys that hadn't have a lot of experience. This might be their first time in front of a crowd playing at Hickman County. So you never know what might happen right here. The floodgates could open.
Yeah, you're not totally out of this game. I mean, it's the fifth. You got this inning, the next. You've got to commit an
You
out.
still have
this
9
inning, too.
outs to play with.
9
yeah.
outs to play with.
Right. We don't have to score 10 right here. We can score 6 runs and be right back in the ball game.
I mean, just think if just these two guys can score, how different the momentum feels on the field, how different it feels in the dugout, and even on the mound for the opposing team.
And they're bringing in the shortstop, Maddox Tanner. We haven't seen him yet across these 2 days, so the Bulldogs are going to have to make some adjustments. I'm sure they're going to be watching closely and carefully over in that third base dugout. The velocity doesn't look too bad. Coach Smithson, what do you see from this guy in warm-ups?
Well, just watching him, it looks like he's just really trying to get the ball over the plate. Not really concerned about the velocity. One thing I've learned is a good hitter can hit a fastball. That's why they're a good hitter. So if you just square the ball up with a metal bat, anytime you step up there with a metal bat, you can do some damage. You just got to hit the baseball.
I'd say the only difference I really see, obviously, other than the velo, because Hull was bringing it, is he's from a little lower arm slot. Maybe we'll see a fastball ride a little bit more. Doesn't look like it as he's warming up, but yeah, guy we haven't seen yet, so this will get interesting.
So Wyatt Bates has looked really good at the plate, had that RBI infield single to the shortstop, and then had that double/error, whatever you want to call it, in right field.
It's a
And that
double,
still-
Josh.
I won't disagree. I'm
like Kobe. We're playing at Hickman County. That's a double all the way.
All the way. That's a hard ball to get to.
So Wyatt Bates has singled and doubled, and you know what that means, Colby? He is halfway to the cycle.
Wyatt Bates.
He is halfway to the cycle. Only the 2 hardest ones left. That's all.
Do we get chicken nuggets if he hits for the cycle?
I'm going to be asking.
Man, we better get a lot more than just chicken nuggets if someone hits for the cycle.
And that one misses in the dirt. It skips up. Nice play behind the plate by Bean. So Wyatt Bates, first pitch he sees, and he's ahead in the count 1-0. Tanner delivers. Bates fouls it into the net off to the right.
That seems to be the way he likes to hit the ball. Like I said, he's dropping his hands just a little bit, slows your swing down, and he's looking to shoot the ball to right field, which is a good approach.
The 1-1 misses upstairs for a ball. And at this stage of the game, you have to know you're not going to tie this game with one swing. You have to take disciplined, patient, professional at-bats.
Walks are great right here.
But Bates is swinging away 2-1 on a pretty hittable pitch, but fouls it back into the net, 2-2. Now Bates just looking to put the bat on the ball. The 2-2 pitch. Misses outside, a great take. And not a bad stick behind the plate by the catcher either. He made that look very convincing. Full count. The pitch misses outside, ball 4, and a tremendous at-bat for Wyatt Bates to load the bases for Jackson Bates.
Now up,
Yeah, we got that was a great take. We got to get back to the top of the order right here this inning. Let's get back to the top and see if we can put some crooked numbers up there.
Jackson Bates has had a good night. He had that really hard hit single that unfortunately hit Wyatt Bates on that first base, second base hole, and also drew a walk and came around to score that last at bat. Jackson Bates is hot right now. This is a guy you want up to drive a couple of these runners in. Still no outs for the Dogs right now.
And that one misses upstairs for a ball. Count evens up at 1-1. And to quote my broadcast partner, he does look hitterish.
He does. I just thought the same thing. He takes the ball really well and puts a good swing on the ball. This young guy's got a. I like what I see with him.
That's like the best thing to ever be called. That sounds not great. I think I like that a lot. Hitterish.
The 1-2 pitch to Bates misses way outside, runs the count even 2-2.
See how he took that ball right there? He didn't jump. He calmly took the ball. He tracked it into the catcher. He knew it was outside. I like that.
And this is a big moment, don't be mistaken, but Bates looking as cool as a cucumber. The 2-2 pitch again misses outside to run the count full 3-2, back-to-back full counts out of the pen for Maddox Tanner.
This might be a little nerdy thing, but Coach Smithson, do you see him a little over-rotating right now? Maybe stepping more towards the visitor dugout?
A little bit.
Kind of everything falling towards the glove side.
And he does it once more. And it's back-to-back walks for the Bulldogs and another run on the board.
This is how you get big innings going right here. This is how you score big crooked numbers. There's a lot of walks. Your infielders are back on their heels. You know, I'd like to see a walk right here, a walk a run in right here. Then you got your big boys coming up.
And I've heard people say, Coach Smithson, that big leads can be a blessing and a curse. They're good because you're leading, but they're bad because you can kind of fall asleep defensively. Quall smokes that one in the hole. Base hit in the right field. 1 run scores. Bates being waved around. Throw to the plate, soft line. 2 runs will score. And the 2 runners will advance. It's second and third for the Bulldogs after Major Qualls delivers with a 2 RBI base hit.
We talk a lot about walks haunting and how important it is just to put the bat on the ball. Major Qualls didn't just put the bat on the ball right there. That was smoke through the hole. You're starting to see these basketball boys, Seal and Qualls, kind of find their timing, and they're starting to square balls up. We've seen them both do it back-to-back at bats. Big runs right there.
I think I saw some smoke flying off of that ball. It was a screamer.
Now, Spiegelmeyer needs to cut his swing down a little bit right here and quit trying to hit a 5-run homer and put the ball in place. He's swinging way too hard.
Spig's definitely trying to get it all back with 1 swing, which just isn't going to happen. But he does have a strikeout tonight, a walk, and a double in the left field. He had that big hit against Dakota Hull his last at-bat that burnt the head of Phoenix McDonald.
And he drove in 2 runs on that hit, so if he can add 2 more here, that's pretty good night at the plate.
Yeah, because he's got power to right center, and there's a big gap out there in right center. If he just keep his head down, drive that ball right over second base.
The 1-1 pitch to Spig. Skies that one to left field. That one's falling. Left fielder charging, and he makes the catch. Qualls has to retreat, but the ball gets away from the second baseman. 1 run's going to score. Windmill on for Major Qualls. Throw to the plate. He bobbled it. Safe! 2 runs on the board. Hickman County's down 3.
I thought that was a pretty aggressive send right there. But at this point in the game, you're forcing the action. I love that. Major Qualls is speedy as all get out. You're making that first baseman that doesn't make that throw often.
And I would like to say, Colby, I think if that's anybody else on second besides Major Qualls, he's stopping at third.
Yeah, very few people.
High school baseball, you got to love it.
And to think we were starting to dig into our blowout material last inning, but now here we are. We're sitting up. We're locking in, guys. We got a game.
Yeah, we were hoping for chicken nuggets, and we've got a game now.
Yeah, this is awesome.
So now Braden Chesser in the 2-hole has to be that leadoff guy again. Is that sack fly? I don't know what you call that. Probably fly out, 2-runner score on error, I guess. I'm not keen on what you would put that in the box.
I would say error on the throw from left fielder, then just a straight score right there by Major to push the action. That throw was there. It was just bobbled.
So Chesser, first pitch, takes it for a strike. Braden hasn't gotten a hit yet tonight. He's 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch. Took one off the dome his last time. And that one skips up to the plate, so Maddox Tanner has only recorded 1 out since coming into the game for Hull, and he's already thrown almost 20 pitches.
I just think if that guy had not have caught that ball, he made a great catch right there. The left fielder did. Then he threw it away. So, you know, we need a couple more walks to get a couple more runners on right here, and then another big hit.
And Chesser ahead in the count, 2-1. The pitch. Inside, off the handle, foul ball.
You know, I really like our contribution of our 2 young players who's in the lineup. This is another freshman right here. This is good to see these young guys playing.
He's looked so much older than a freshman too. I mean, he just looks so poised. That eye right there is pretty impressive.
That one did not miss by much.
I know we talked about last night, and I mentioned it tonight. He fouled off in his first 2 plate appearances last night, maybe like 11 pitches. Like he just works counts like that, and that's what he does, man.
And Braden Chesser is a special young man. What a great at-bat. And yeah, Colby, we were talking about it yesterday. Colt Skelton threw quite a few pitches, and around 15 of those were because of Braden Chesser alone.
Honestly, not a ton of like deep counts from Colt Skelton. He was finding his groove, but once Braden Chesser came up, it just stalled, and he's doing it again tonight.
And Lewis, off the handle, fouls that one back. And the Bulldogs came into this inning down by 9 runs, 12-3, and in the blink of an eye, the tying run is in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, this is our leader right here. John Michael needs to put a good at bat together. That's a good take right there.
Lewis is the last of the starters to bat this inning. After him, we have batted around. So it's been a really good inning so far. Still only 1 out.
Evens the count 1-1 after a great take on a ball that just missed the outside part of the zone. Chesser, very modest lead at first. Lewis, check swing, but was in the zone anyway. Strike 2.
It's like he's been in between the whole night. I don't know if he's guessing or going up there looking for a certain pitch, but he's not getting it. He just needs to see the ball and hit it hard.
The 1-2 pitch to Lewis. Check swing, down on strikes. First base is occupied, so he doesn't have the chance to run that one out. So it's 2 outs for the Bulldogs. Andy Kraft stepping in with Braden Chesser over at first. And Andy Kraft in this same inning started it with a walk and would eventually come around to score. Otherwise, he is 0 for 1 with a ground out to the second baseman, but he's reached twice. That walk we mentioned and a hit by pitch. That ball smoked at the second baseman, but an atom ball. And that ends the bottom half of the 5th. But the Bulldogs hang a 5 spot. And we've got a game, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back for the top of the 6th. We head to the top of the 6th. Carter Bates still on the mound for the Bulldogs, and I stand corrected from the last time. Hickman County did not hang just a 5 spot. They hung a 6 spot. That's why I'm not a math professor. So now the Bulldogs looking to keep The score right where it is, only trailing by 3. And what a different story this could be if the Bulldogs are able to set down the Panthers in order.
Big inning right here. Carter, get 3 ground ball outs and let's go back to work.
The first pitch of the 6th misses outside for a ball, and it's going to be Phoenix McDonald stepping in. It's going to be 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Panthers.
There you go. Those strikes, make them hit. Let's go.
Yeah, this is kind of the guy you want on the mound in this situation, in my opinion. The guy that's going to make the batter have to put something in play and make your defense work. He's going to go up there and throw strikes just like he just did. Beautiful off-speed changeup.
Yeah, it looked like he took a bit off there. Gets
Yeah.
a big rip and a miss out of McDonald. 1-2 the count.
Well, Carter makes it, the Lewis County Panthers rearrange their whole thoughts. I mean, John Michael's out there throwing hard. Their game plan was to hit the ball the opposite field, and here comes Carter throwing change-ups, breaking balls. They got them all messed up.
I also love how fast he's working right now. Gets sun, goes to the pitch,
And
delivers.
that's usually a staple of Carter Bates on the
Yep,
mound, for
yep.
sure. But now we got a 3-2 count, nobody out. Pop foul will do it again. The 3-2 once more from Bates. Got him swinging. Foul tip into the catcher's mitt. Held on by Kylan Seal. And it's 1 up, 1 down to start the 6th.
Yeah, really, really good mix right there. He got him earlier on a foul tip, the same spot, same pitch. 3-2, whatever you feel comfortable with. He just went right back to the wheelhouse and went and got that same pitch.
And it's first pitch swinging by Colt Skelton. A big rip and a miss, and Bates is ahead in the count 0-1. But like a bolt of lightning, he's already back on the rubber, ready to work. That one just misses below the zone, but it didn't happen without Skelton at least thinking about swinging.
Well, it looks like to me, we've got them on their heels. You look at their dugout; they have no enthusiasm at all. The momentum has definitely changed. If we can get back in without any runs scored here, I got a good feeling about this.
It's not too often you see the team leading look so defeated. 2 strikes, and that one bounces away out of the zone. He might have pulled off on that one just a little bit.
Yeah.
That hit something weird in the dirt and caught Seal in probably the shoulder area. That's probably not very fun. If I had to take a guess at that.
I wouldn't be lining up to take that hit.
They got to make this guy hit right here. Throw it right down the middle. You don't want to walk these guys at the end of their lineup.
Ideally, you would like their 9-hole to lead off the next inning.
There you go.
And another swing and a miss, and Carter Bates starts the 6th inning with a couple of strikeouts.
You can just sort of feel the momentum switching. You see how we threw the ball around right there on that strikeout? Had a little hop to it. I think the Dogs are starting to get their mojo back.
But now, if the Dogs want to go 1-2-3, they got to retire the red-hot Jackson Long, who's 3 for 3. First pitch in there for a strike. That's a good start.
I love the cadence of how he's pitching right now. Getting the sign, getting up there.
And that ball's blistered back up the box, and it's another base hit for Jackson Long. And at some point, you got to just recognize how good the other guys are hitting it. And Jackson Long has been that guy tonight.
You know what you do right there, Josh? You tip your cap. Good piece of hitting right there.
So we have a new hitter stepping into the box for the Panthers. First pitch, popped to the right side, foul ball out of play, but Bates does give it a look.
Just says number 10 on the end.
And another foul ball, so 2 pitches, 2 swings.
I would bet this guy's a freshman. You want to know why I'm guessing that?
Why's that?
See his batting helmet? Looked like he brought that from home with him.
And this is number 10, Gavin Barber. We didn't see him at all yesterday, so the first at-bat, the first sample we're getting of him on WNKX. Bates from the stretch, way ahead, 0-2 in the count. The pitch, again fouled off. I tell you what, though, Barber putting the bat on the ball, being a tough out for sure.
It's up there batting. Give me a shot, coach.
But Bates again quickly on the rubber, comes set. Goes with the leg kick. Swing and a miss on a nasty ball. Breaking out of the zone. So a scoreless top half of the sixth for Carter Bates, and he's all fired up heading into his own dugout. And the Bulldogs looking to keep the sticks hot as they're only 3 runs away from tying this ball game. And due up for the Bulldogs, it'll be their 5, 6, and 7 hitters. And it begins with Carter Bates, who is probably the best guy to lead off an inning with the way he's been swinging it tonight. He's 3 for 3 with 3 singles, and he even came around to score in his last time up.
Yeah, and he's pulled everything. Which to me kind of tells me that he's being pretty aggressive up there, which I kind of like for him. Everything's gone through that 5 and 6 hole. 3 singles scored that last time. Good guy to start us off right here. And what do we say, Josh? This is an opportunity to help yourself out there on the mound.
That's right.
Beauty
that's
of
right.
high school baseball, man.
Hickman County has 6 outs left to play with to plate 3 runs at least. First pitch to Bates, and he's first pitch swinging. Comes up empty for strike 1. It's still Maddox Tanner out there on the mound for the Panthers. And he's going to have to shake off that last inning. Bates again swinging, and he's down in the count 0-2.
Yeah, swings a little long right there, and he shorten up, put the bat on the ball right here.
Quick delivery, and he pulls off on it, and that ball heads to the backstop for ball 1. And last inning, we saw the Bulldogs, a lot of disciplined at-bats, a lot of pitches thrown by Tanner. Bates going to have to battle here, 1-2. Skies that one to center field. Hull charging, and that's going to drop in no man's land for another hit for Carter Bates. And you know what they say, Colbs, when you're hot, you're hot. And that's been Carter Bates tonight. Everything he's touched with his bat has turned to gold.
Sometimes, even with those, you just know you're living right, you know? You just throw the barrel out there, and we saw that happen a couple times already tonight. Just bat on ball.
When you put it in play,
Especially,
put the ball in play, you got a shot.
That's right. That 2-strike approach, you're going to get on it anyway. Make something happen out of nothing. It was pretty impressive at bat.
And Ruger Toddy courtesy running for Carter Bates, the pitcher. And Kylan Seal steps in, takes a first pitch ball off the inside part of the dish, and Seal blistered an extra base hit his last time up over the head of Phoenix McDonald in left field. Ahead in the count 1-0. Pretty healthy lead for Toddy over at first. Back pick. And he dives back in safely. And Coach, whenever you're down by 3, do you like taking those big secondaries there?
No, not really. You don't want to make an out. His run really means nothing. He needs to play it safe. It's the guy on deck that we want to score.
The 2-0 pitch in the dirt. Toddy takes off. Nice break. The throw's up the line. And a great read by Ruger Toddy to advance into scoring position with nobody out.
Well, that was a good secondary. And, you know, what you want your guys to do in the secondary, if the ball's in the dirt and you get a good secondary, it's very hard to make a play on you. So, good read right there by Ruger.
So now shortstop creeping in. It's Ham who took over at short for Tanner, who's now on the mound. And that 3-0 pitch is in there for a strike, a little get-me-over fastball.
This would have to be right down the middle for me before I swing. I mean, we need another base runner right here.
Sets and delivers. That ball called a strike at the knees, maybe upper shins.
Well, he's been consistent. I will have to give him that. He's done a good job of being consistent.
So now, Seal having to go into protect mode, a little bit of base hit ball 4 action. 3-2, nobody out. Ruger Toddy at second base, who courtesy ran for Carter Bates. And that one misses way outside, not really a competitive pitch. And Kylan Seal takes first, Ruger Toddy at second, Wyatt Bates at the plate, who represents the tying run.
I think we see sometimes, too, we talked about this last inning, maybe with that rotation right there, and it looks like they might be coming to take him out, but that rotation looked like he was missing a little bit glove side, and we saw that on that walk. Curious if this is just a mound visit or if they are going to their 4th arm of the night.
Yeah, it's like I said, get deep in their bullpen. You just never know what's going to happen, and that's what's happening right now. When the game's tight, guys who hadn't had that experience, it's hard to throw the ball over the plate. I've been there. I know what that's like. Get a little tight, and that plate seems to shrink, and the umpire quits giving you strikes. And this is what's happening right now.
Well, I know it's got to feel like you're at the peak of Mount Everest with how thin the air feels on the mound with all those eyes on you. It's not like other sports where they're, so chaotic, where if you miss a shot in basketball, yeah, people might think, well, why'd you shoot that? But after a while, you kind of forget about it because of how fast-paced it is. But when you're on the mound, people are looking at you and only you.
Well, I learned real quick. One of the things I do remember my first time at pitching in Yankee Stadium, it's sort of funny the way the ballpark is set up. There in different sections are different nationalities. You got your Puerto Ricans, you got your Nicaraguans, you've got all these different nationalities all the way around the ballpark, and they're all yelling at you and cussing at you in different languages. So you had to you had to cut that out, and you really focused on you and the catcher. And most of the time I was, but seriously, the Yankees lineup with Mattingly and Reggie Jackson and gosh, those good Yankee teams, Willie Randolph. You could tell. I never really noticed guys on deck, but there I did. You could always peek over and there's Reggie Jackson or there's Don Mattingly or their lineup just went on and on. Craig Nettles, all Hall of Famers, all stars. One of the few times I ever caught myself peeking at who's on deck.
Now, the reason I asked you about Reggie Jackson earlier wasn't because of the 300th RBI or whatever it was. It wasn't that. It was because I heard from somewhere that you sucker punched Reggie Jackson. How true is that?
No, that was that Texas story I told you. He's the one that grabbed me, and it was a big pileup, and he grabbed me, and I just remember I heard the voice, "Me and you, Ricky, are not getting involved in this." And I turned around, and he had me, and I said, "Thank you, Mr. Jackson."
Just being able to have that interaction with someone as legendary as Mr. October is unreal.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
I know we've had a great game to watch, but Colby, what an honor it is for us to be able to hear these great stories and to be able to call this game alongside you, Coach. And I think we're going to have a pretty exciting finish from this field who's named after someone you might know.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be a great night. Little one-run walk-off right here.
Well, I'll tell you what, the guy on the mound has really crushed at the plate. We've got Jackson Long, the third baseman, coming to pitch.
If there's anybody riding momentum, anybody who's the hot hand metaphorically for your team and literally, it's going to be Jackson Long.
And that might sound silly, but in high school, that you are pretty confident. Hey, I'm kind of dominating this game. Like, let's see what I can do on the mound. So, fifth pitcher we've seen.
Bunts, just bunting all the way. Beautiful bunt. Shortstop charges. He doesn't have a play. It's a bunt single. And the tying run's on first base with nobody out. The go-ahead run stands into the box in the form of Jackson Bates. And that was a flawless bunt, and he didn't even hide it either. He was squaring from the get-go.
Boy, you couldn't draw it up any better than that. Perfect bunt. Now look, bases loaded, nobody out. This is the inning right here.
So Jackson Bates digging in, looking to do some damage. Nobody out. Toddy at third, Jackson Smith at second, Wyatt Bates at first. The first pitch called a strike, but not much you could do with that.
Good take.
Now, Jackson Bates has walked his last 2 play appearances, came around to score on both of those, had a single in the second inning that we remember. nabbed Wyatt Bates over there in that first and second base hole.
The pitch to Bates, and he has to back out of danger. And we see over there at first, the first baseman playing in on the grass. If it's hit to him, we'll probably see him come home with it. So he's not thinking too much about Wyatt Bates. So if he gets a big lead at first, a ball in the gap's probably scoring all three.
Yeah, just got to be afraid of the line drive. Got to freeze on the line drive. No double plays.
Long kicks and deals. Bates is swinging and skies that one foul.
Yeah, like you said, there's no outs right now. So all of those things you hear, freeze on the line drive, take a step every time the outfielder takes a step back, all those things you hear.
We're going through all the cliches.
Yeah, you're going through all of it, but there's 0 outs, so you actually do have to abide by all those
Well,
rules.
you look at the Lewis County outfield. They're playing deep.
Yeah.
2 strikes on Jackson Bates, looking to protect.
Good.
And he does just that, goes down and gets it and pokes it into the net to stay alive for at least one more pitch.
Good at bat so far. I know you saw a pitch around that outside corner to start, but he's really battled back with 2 foul balls right here.
Jackson Bates has looked like an absolute professional in that batter's box so far tonight, but needs to deliver just one more time. The 1-2. Way up and in, and he has to watch out as that buzzes the tower.
You hear a lot of guys, and I didn't hear a lot there, but the 2 that have been inside, you hear a lot of guys in the dugout say, "Wear it." Man, they're not in the box with that coming by the head, so.
Got to get out of the way when it's at your head, that's for sure.
And they say that a bit jokingly, but there are no jokes in that Bulldog dugout tonight. They're all business, trying to get back into this game. The 2-2 pitch. Gets past him,
No, Ruger.
and a little bit of hesitation by Ruger. Toddy makes the smart decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now the count runs full. 3-2.
Yeah, there's not a ton of space here at the Mike Smithson field behind the plate, and you got some brick too, so maybe you're worried about the ricochet. So, very smart decision. Again, 0 outs. You don't want to be overly aggressive and run into an out.
3-2, full count, nobody out, bases loaded. The pitch from Long. Misses high, and Bates draws a walk. And what an absolute professional Bates has looked like tonight at the plate.
Yeah, really good. This is our whole athletic department. I know our basketball team with Matthew Dotson and Mason Floyd at the middle school. They're teaching them the right thing. Coach Chester's teaching our kids the right thing. When they come up to high school level, they're ready to play. And same way with baseball right there. Well, see, these 2 freshmen are very impressive.
And Major Qualls had a big base hit his last time up. He's 1 for 3 and a chance to be a hero in the bottom of the 6th, down 2 runs.
Boy, how big would this one be?
And he's first pitch swinging, and you can tell exactly what he's trying to do at the plate.
Yeah, he stepped out big time right there. He's got to keep that front side right back to the pitcher. He really pulled off right there.
You can't let the moment get too big. Just silence that noise and just put something in play. The 0-1 from Long. That one misses in the dirt for a ball. Count even, 1-1.
I mean, just the momentum from about an inning and a half ago to now is completely shifted. This is a very good ball game right now.
And Qualls pops that one behind the first baseman.
Tag.
Shading back. He makes the catch, and the runners have to stay put. So a good pitch by Jackson Long, and that was about the only thing he could do on the mound besides a strikeout to keep a run from scoring.
Well, everything turned out okay right there. That's an out. At least he went up there swinging, and the guy had to make a pretty good play right there.
And now he stayed out of the double play, still less than 2 outs, and you've got the top of your lineup due up. So the Bulldogs still very much in business, but they're going to need a big hit from Spiggs. The middle infield at double play depth. First baseman on the grass, third baseman even with the bag. First pitch misses outside, ball 1.
I'd say these next 2 guys are kind of the 2 you want up right now, maybe aside from Carter Bates. You could name a lot of guys, but these 2 have consistently been on it the past couple of nights, and this is who you want up. So this is a good situation for the Dogs right now.
1-0. Spiegelmeyer takes that one high above the hands, and he's ahead in the count 2-0. So what do you think, Coach? Are you taking till you get a strike?
Taking all the way right here. I'm telling my guy, you're taking one. I'd let him know it too. He's taking.
Yeah, you definitely are. It's that 5th Lewis County pitcher in the series. going to make him earn it for sure.
The 2-0 pitch to Spiegelmeyer. He does take all the way. That one misses downstairs. So I think about everybody in the ballpark could guess red light on for Spigs at the dish.
He better. Let's put it like that.
Not even a yellow. I mean, full stop
No
sign.
yellow. Yeah,
no
full
yellow.
stop. The 3-0 pitch misses high, ball 4. And the Bulldogs are within 1, bases loaded, 1 out.
Braden Chesser.
And if you want to have a vintage high school moment as a freshman, this is the spot to have it for Braden Chesser.
Well, I got to tell you, I can't think of any other guy on that bench that I'd rather have up right now than him. He's been really impressive with the way he approaches the game. And, hey, I like the situation we're in right here.
Has yet to get a hit tonight, but, man, we've seen some really good worked counts. And we've seen it for the past couple of weeks, how good of a hitter and how good of just a batter in general he is. That
So,
not just squaring the ball up.
no hits tonight, so you're telling me he's
Uh-oh.
due.
Uh-oh, is that what I'm hearing?
You're telling me he's due?
Still,
I think so.
Hey, all I'm going to say, still only 1 out with Braden Chesser up to bat.
The first pitch to Chesser, and he's taken up and in. And I tell you what, Chesser, he did not flinch. If that was going to hit him in the face, he was going to wear it and tie that game. He's, wow, stone cold from Braden Chesser. The 1-0. Taken all the way, misses high, and the Bulldogs are 2 balls away from tying this game.
Yeah, and we're back to that situation where you're taking it till you see one. Especially this kid right here.
Maybe get right up on the plate right here, and maybe he'll hit me.
The 2-0. Oh, a generous strike on the outside corner. Caught the slightest piece of black. So 2-1. Now you can put Chesser maybe with the green light on.
I'm still maybe on like I need to see my pitch because he's so good with 2 strikes.
And Chesser swinging 2-1 and fouls that one down into the woods.
Yeah, a little high, but you know what? I like his aggressive. He's up there ready to hit. He's wanting to hit, but he's got to know the strike zone right here.
2-2. Might be looking for that outside corner as most pitchers have been tonight for that put away stuff. 2-2. Chesser ground ball to short. 6, 4, low throw.
No.
By him. We're tied. Runner going home. It's Bates. He scores standing. The Bulldogs lead. Unreal.
And good things happen when you put the bat on the ball. I know that was a scary situation. 1 out, you hit it right at the shortstop, but that's in high school baseball. That's how you do it right there. You make them
there
get you
is
out.
nobody hurting more than Jackson Long. He executed the perfect pitch, the most tailor-made double play you'll probably see all nighter, maybe all season. Just couldn't finish off the throw, and now the Bulldogs lead 13-12, and the inning's not yet over. And we talked about guys being due. Perhaps nobody more so than John Michael Lewis. First pitch in the dirt for a ball. And, you know, John Michael's probably going to be a little bit down on himself because he knows maybe not the best outing on the mound tonight, at least not what we're used to, but you can wipe that all clean with a ball in the gap.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a team game. That's why we're playing.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at this game if you're him as a 2-1 game if you want.
And Lewis bashes that one. Fair ball. And the left fielder takes it. Chesser slides into third. He's safe. And John Michael Lewis with a 2-out double. And the Dogs have runners in scoring position for Andy Kraft. And we talked about Lewis being due. And that ball was smoked down the line. If that ball gets to the wall, Chesser may score.
That's the John Michael we know, and look at that. I mean, talking about maybe being down or whatever, your team's now up. You hit a blistering shot down the line, get 2 guys in scoring position for a good hitter and Andy Kraft due up.
And remember,
Andy, this is big at bat for Andy. We need these 2 runs right here. Give us a little cushion.
and Andy hit the ball hard on the nose last time. It was just right at the second baseman. So if he can straighten that out a little bit, Kraft might have himself a couple of RBIs on the ledger.
I'm almost thinking still you're waiting for your pitch here though.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
Just after seeing how the inning has gone by, he's now the last batter in the lineup to hit. So 9 guys have hit now.
And he jumps out of the way, 2-0.
I remember our third base coach of the Red Sox. He'd always say, you could hear him yell, keyhole it when this is the count. And he's talking about the pitcher's got to throw it through the keyhole. And that's what he's got to look for right here.
Funny enough, Coach Smithson.
The 2-0 pitch.
Oh.
He's swinging 2-0, but again, it's right at the second baseman. But the Bulldogs, after trailing by 9 runs earlier in the game, they have taken the lead 13-12 and are 3 outs away from splitting the series with the Panthers 1-1. Well, fellas, I'm not sure if we could have scripted a better game for us to call as a 3-man trio in the booth up here. What a night, and it's going to be up to Carter Bates on the mound, who took over for John Michael Lewis, and Bates has looked pretty darn good, but he needs to look pretty darn good for just 3 more outs.
Who they got up? Who's coming up for Lewis?
Top, I think.
Top.
1, 2, 3. Always happens, doesn't it? This is the hardest 3 outs in baseball to get. These right here.
Yeah, and these guys have all reached more than once tonight. So whether on error, couple base hits, your 3-hole, Dakota Hall has reached twice on a double and a single, and then also walked. This would be a humongous win if they can shut these 1, 2, 3s down right here.
Absolutely. Just don't think, he just don't make it any more than what it is. Just go out and keep doing what you're doing.
And as a pitcher, you're expecting your defense to back you up. If there's a play that needs to be made, you're counting on them to make it. And even those tough plays, right? You're in the field not because you can make the easy stuff, but because you can make the difficult ones as well.
You want your infielders here to no triples. Cover the lines.
And first pitch is across for a strike to Maddox Tanner.
Even though I don't see ours doing that, third baseman's playing regular, first baseman's playing regular. I'd have my guys covering the lines. They'd have to hit it to my left.
And a breaking ball drops in there for a strike. It caught the outside part of the plate. And now Bates is way ahead 0-2 on the leadoff man Tanner.
It's that similar message that you say in basketball, hey, no 3s here, don't foul.
The 0-2 line down the right field line, but foul.
You're trying to limit them to a single, if anything. No extra base hits. You don't want a guy in scoring position right off the bat.
Absolutely.
And they're trying to get the ball in, so they call time, and that might throw off Carter Bates' rhythm a little bit. We know he likes to work lightning quick. But he's back on the rubber and ready to go. The 0-2 to Tanner. And it bounces up to the plate, trying to find that put-away stuff.
A couple of times on his off-speed stuff, he's really like throwing darts. He's sort of aiming it. Just throw the ball. Trust your motion.
I want to see that changeup right here, honestly.
The 1-2. And that ball smacked and just out of the reach of Aiden Spiegelmeyer. It's up the middle for a leadoff single. And Maddox Tanner represents the tying run with nobody out. And Braylon Bean will step in. And Bean is 2 for 4 on the night. He's flown out to the left fielder and the right fielder, but he also has a couple of singles. Bates looking for that ground ball double play. High and outside, maybe trying to prevent a bunt or a steal.
I don't think they're going to be bunting here. I looked at their coach. He didn't give him much of a sign. He's going for the win.
Looking for that knockout. Bates kicks and deals. Ground ball to third. Chesser, 5, 4, 3. And it's low and it skips away. And it does go up into the net. So that's going to be a free base for Bean. And, Coach, I know I saw your reaction. Maybe you were hoping he put that one in his back pocket.
Yeah, he should have just held that, take the outs, and I don't know. I think he knows what he did wrong right there. Yeah, he should have just ate that.
And now Dakota Hull steps in with the tying run over at second. And now the umpires are talking about this a little bit. Now, is it because he might not have been to first yet by the time the ball would have been passed, or what would that conversation look like?
I don't know. I don't know what the ground rules, if they've changed the ground rules. I saw Kobe said if the ball goes in the net, it's extra base. So I'm going to go with what Kobe thought.
I remember us playing first base in high school that that was always a little debate. I feel like it happened like every other game because the fence and the net are obviously together right there. So it's really hard to judge, especially for a umpire in the field and one behind the plate to say, did it hit the net or the fence? So you're just looking for sound cues. If it hits the net, sadly, it's almost like throwing it in a dugout.
What if it had bounced first and went up into the net? Same thing.
That's the thing, right? That's probably why he's talking, because it did bounce at the point of first base. So
But
I think it is an error in a move to second.
But all the same, they've got a runner at second. It's Braylon Bean. And Hull check swing, no appeal needed. He went around for strike one. And Hull, definitely the guy they want up. But I think Hickman County's had a pretty decent game plan for him, at least to start the game. But he did have that double, and then he had the walk earlier.
Yeah, if you can somehow get a strikeout or a meaningless pop out where that runner doesn't move, that would be pretty phenomenal.
And Bates will probably be working him very carefully. Another breaking ball. Now, Coach, are you expecting to see a heavy diet of breaking stuff to Hull?
Well, his off-speed stuff, that seems like it's what he's throwing right here. He hung looks like a straight changeup to the hitter. It's on second. So I don't know. You got to mix in a fastball to him, but I'm not sure I want to throw him a fastball for a strike. Yeah. Maybe throw it in, back him off. I really don't think it would hurt if we walk this guy or even hit this guy. We got an open base. That way we got a force at any base.
I was about to ask you, what if there is an open base, do you even give him anything to look at? The guy behind him has got on base every time, but this is, I think, the guy.
Yeah, I do too. I'm pitching to him, but I'm going to make him hit my pitch.
Yeah. So it's a 1-1 count to Dakota Hull. Decent lead out at second. Here's the pitch. Fastball, definitely a challenge pitch, is fouled back.
Well, here's the good thing about it. That was his pitch.
Yeah.
That was the hitter's pitch, and he missed it. So maybe we can get him fishing for one right here.
It's going to be 1-2. A big pitch coming up for Carter Bates on the mound. Needs to execute. The 1-2, and it's a spin back to second, just trying to keep him honest. And how strange is it that in back-to-back frames, each team has benefited, at least somewhat, from a misplayed double play ball.
I'm telling you, bat on the ball in a high school level, it creates a lot.
1-2 pitch in the dirt. Great take by Hull.
Good take. I thought he was going to go for that one. That was a good pitch.
A really good changeup. It was great right behind that mistake fastball too to change speeds. But
John Michael's giving signs right here, but I'm telling you, do not throw the game away on a pickoff. Do not lose the game on a pickoff play.
Still with 2 strikes on Hull. 2-2 count, 1 out, runner on first. Here's the pitch. Again in the dirt. Again, Hull doesn't bite. And now he runs the count full 3-2, and maybe he's sitting dead red fastball.
There's no doubt. He's not hitting a fastball right here. He's going to have to hit something off speed. Like I said, we got an open base.
How amped up will Hull be on this pitch? The 3-2 misses way outside. He pulls off on it. And now the go-ahead runs at first with 1 out, but that does set up the double play possibility.
Yeah, you now get a force just about anywhere but home. Sets up the double play like you said. This kid has been on base every single time tonight. 2 doubles to center field, a walk in the 5th, and a single right up the middle too. So he's hit 3 balls up the middle tonight.
Yeah, Colbs, he's not just reaching either. He is bashing the baseball, and Bates has to be aware of that. Left fielder cheating in a little bit, center fielder playing back, and Bates at normal depth and right. The first pitch to Clayton. He's first pitch swinging, skied to right. Bates is underneath it. Runner tagging to third.
No, don't cut it.
Bates throwing it in. John Michael cuts it off. Runners at the corners with 2 out. And although in a perfect world you keep that runner held at second, but now you just need 1 out of any variety, and this game's over.
Yeah, good play. That good execution there. Fly ball to right, hit his cutoff guy. John Michael turned, didn't throw, run the ball back in. Now we're in a win situation.
If there was ever a time for Clayton to record his first out, it was that right there. And now it's somebody who definitely feels like he's due in Rylan Ham. He's struck out several times tonight, 3 to be exact. But he knows he can make it right with 1 swing.
All right, now get your everything in order here. They're going to try something. I guarantee you. If this guy gets 2 strikes on him or a strike, they're going to double steal. They're going to try some way to get this guy at third. Hickman County's got to know what they're doing with the baseball right here.
And as a pitcher, you would.
And the first pitch is over for a strike to Rylan Ham.
You'd be able to talk to this better, but it's so important to keep your focus at the plate and not everywhere else with stuff going on with two outs, bottom of the 7th.
The 0-1 popped up. Does Seal have room? No, he doesn't. That one's going to bounce foul out of play over near the tennis courts. And now it's an 0-2 count. Carter Bates is one strike away from the Bulldogs completing the comeback.
Ray Miller, our manager at Minnesota one year, he was the pitching coach for the Orioles. Do not lose the game on a pickoff.
The 0-2 up and away, and Seal's going to bite it and give it right back to Bates. And his focus, as it should be, is dead set on the batter, way ahead 1-2. Carter just needs one strike.
As we talked about, let him have the base. Sure, let's get the guy at the plate. Get out of here.
The 1-2.
Don't overthrow.
Pulls off on it into the other batter's box, but arguably the play of the night for Kylan Seal behind the plate.
Very good play, very good awareness. You can kind of see as he walked whole in that last pitch, a lot of adrenaline going on.
Deuce is wild. The 2-2 pitch just missed it up in the zone. And a stone-cold take by Rylan Ham. And here we go. 3-2, 2 outs. Tying run at third, go-ahead run at second. Bates can win it with one strike. The 3-2. He struck him out! Carter Bates delivers the biggest pitch of the night. And Ham strikes out for the 4th time. And the Bulldogs have split the series down by 9 runs. The battling Bulldogs scratched and clawed and fought, and they win right here on the campus of Hickman County High School.
I tell you what, that's really impressive to get punched in the mouth like they did. And I feel like multiple times, like they were bleeding pretty good and leaking oil. To come back and score in consecutive innings 2, 6, and 4 runs and throw a 0 in the 7th inning on defense. Man, that was an impressive thing to watch. Carter Bates just dealt right there.
I don't know about you, Colby. I got to watch the Bulldogs win, and I got to fist bump a World Series champion. I'm feeling pretty good, Coach. What are your thoughts
That's
right
a good
now?
night.
Well, I got to tell you what, it just goes to show you, just like Kobe said, we got punched in the mouth, but it didn't stop. And you got to tip your cap to Carter Bates. He come in and he did exactly what the doctor ordered. He shut the door on them. Their bullpen let them down. We got some runners. They got a little tight. And we come back and we got the big hits. This is Bulldog baseball, man, and what an honor to be with you guys. Thank you so much for what you guys are doing.
Oh, man, the pleasure is all ours. There's nothing I'd rather be doing than calling some Bulldog baseball, and we're glad that we've had so many people so supportive of what we're doing here on WNKX, and boy, did those of you watching at home have a thriller on that screen.
Man, I've got a little goosebumps, honestly, off that last. Just thinking about, like, being in that spot that Carter Bates was in, having all that adrenaline, that momentum, and throwing that type of pitch, impressive. It was nails. But these Bulldogs fought and clawed, and we knew that they had that in them. They tried a little bit last night, couldn't push the runs over, and it kind of just got away to 4-1. We thought tonight was just going to be a similar thing, but just a little worse, a lot worse, I guess. They were down a lot. But, man, did they fight back. And you got to be proud to be an alumni or be a fan of this team to watch them do that.
And, Colby, I want to think about this, too. Earlier in the game, we thought Carter Bates was coming in for 1 inning, stay below 25 pitches, go to work against Waverly on Thursday. But he hung strong and pitched 72 pitches tonight. He had 3 innings of work, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs. None of those were earned. 2 walks and 6 strikeouts. Carter Bates, take a bow. And also, you could really say that about this entire Bulldog offense as well. How easy is it to face a deficit like that and still be able to find the courage to stay in it?
Well, it's hard. I can tell you on the big league level, it's real hard. Sometimes it's just hard to score 6 runs. But you got to give the Dogs credit, man. They're young kids. I'm really impressed with some of these young kids that they've got on their team. They were ready to play tonight, and they were big on us winning this game. But tip you have to Carter Bates. He kept us in the ball game. We got in their bullpen. We drew some big walks, had some good at bats, and we got the big hits when we needed them.
And these hitters really came out too with Carter Bates. I mean, you need obviously both sides. You need defense to make plays. You need offense to score runs. You need pitchers to show up like that, and the momentum you get from a win like that, think about a loss that we were about to see versus the momentum now that they're going to carry into Waverly on Thursday and Friday is so different, and it's huge.
And don't forget, they did this tonight without their all-district catcher last year. You know, McCaleb was all-district catcher. And at the end of the year last year, he was one of the better catchers, not only in our district, but in the mid-state. He did a great job. And plus he can swing the bat. What happens is when he don't play, our whole lineup gets misconstrued. I mean, we got guys playing out of position, but that's where you tip the cap to the Bulldogs. Even though we got guys playing out of position, they held it together and they won this big game. It's a big game.
And looking at the final line for the Lewis County Panthers, the losing pitcher would be Maddox Tanner, who had 1 inning of work, 2 hits, 5 runs allowed. 3 of those were earned, 4 walks, and 1 strikeout. The final box score, Lewis County had 15 hits to Hickman County's 12. Each team committed 3 errors apiece, but the most important number in that box score, Hickman County wins it 13-12 after an improbable comeback over their rival and district opponent, the Lewis County Panthers. What a night it was. For Colby Shelton, for Coach Mike Smithson, I've been Josh Copley saying so long from WNKX, and we'll see you Thursday against Waverly.